What are you guys laughing about? What the hell's that?
Oh,
what's with the joy?
I said that better be the best god dang intro I've ever heard.
Of all time?
Of all time.
Who was on it? I didn't even hear it.
Who's the record machine?
Oh, the song you mean you were talking about. Wasn't
will jump.
Wasn't Amy's professional intro you liked? It was the music?
Yeah, it's Van Halen. Yeah, I like the music. I jumped into we did what is that? The polar plunge to that song once.
Oh yeah. I did one of those polar plunges one time. It was many, many years ago. That's an interesting idea. I will tell you that. So very quickly at the beginning of the show, I had to point something out that, so Catherine and I were invited to a dinner last night with a couple of friends. And so I got home a little later. And then of course, it means I went to bed a little later. So I get up this morning and there were cleaning people in the house yesterday, kind of dolling it up and all the rest of it. And I'm sure the woman thought she was doing me a favor. She came into the studio and there's a clock on the wall that's set to Minnesota time.
Okay.
Set it forward to Florida time. So I walk in and I'm like, oh my God, it's 10 minutes to 8 o'clock.
That makes so much sense.
Like, oh my God. I went into full tilt panic.
Because I thought it was time for you to hang it up for a second.
To hang it up, baby.
Because you called like normal as you called me and I was like, well, the show, somebody must have died. The show's canceled. Like,
right.
What's the problem? And I'm like, is he losing it? Like, do I need to explain to him what's going on? Oh, that makes me feel better.
God, that explains a lot for me too. Because yesterday I was on my way home. I was like, I'll get gas in the morning. Don't worry about it. You're gonna leave early enough. So I go and I stop at the Holiday this morning. I'm pumping gas. I get back in. Don't even look at the phone. My car starts back up and I'm driving. I'm out on 694 and I see on my heads up display whatever text from Tevin Pittman. Hey, I press it. Tevin says, hey, Tom called me. Why haven't you sent anything for the show yet? I'm like, whoa. I'm pretty sure I have 50 minutes still. What's going on? So I was running a little late, but I was like, I didn't think I was that. So now I'm speeding. I'm like, call Tom Barnard. No answer. I'm freaking out. I'm sweating bullets here.
Hilarious.
Just, on the way, lady. I got to go. So
it's not hilarious that you were sweating bullets, but honestly, I walk in and when you first get up, at least when I first get up, I'm not fully cognizant for about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Most people have a cup of coffee. I have a Diet Pepsi with a little caffeine. So I wasn't even fully awake yet. I look at a clock that says I'm supposed to be on the air in 10 minutes. I go, I don't have anything. I got nothing. So lady, I know you were trying to do me a favor and I really appreciate the fact that you tried to do me a favor, but so basically what I've done is I have one of the screens has the Minneapolis time and one has the East Coast time. So I can balance it back and forth. But the fact that it was so late in the day that it was 7:50 in Minneapolis, I didn't even check the other clock.
No.
But after I talked to you guys, I went, wait a minute. And again, lady, I know you're trying to be nice, so I'm not even mad at her or anything. She's a very sweet woman. As a matter of fact, I will tell you this. She did not even speak English. Her daughter was with her who could speak English, but she couldn't. Mm-hmm. So this woman, this wonderful mom of this other person thought she'd do me a huge favor. Oh, the clock's wrong. Well, I'll just reset it for him.
That's awesome.
I wake up, I'm half awake. I'm going, holy Christ, got to be on the air in 10 minutes.
That's a terrible feeling.
Oh, God, it was horrible. I mean, God, I don't have any. I got nothing. What am I going to do?
I was scrolling through my emails. I was like, did I miss the time change? What is going on?
So, yes, I guess what to take away from this, it's funny. And she was trying to be a sweetheart and do me a favor. So there's nothing bad about this story at all. She tried her best to just, I suppose if you walk in, you go, why does he have clocks set at 2 different times?
Yeah. And it is good that it wasn't the other way. Like if it would have gotten set back. And so now we're sitting here at 8 o'clock. No, yeah, I'm still in bed. He thought he woke up an hour early. Yeah.
Well, I'll be checking both clocks now. So that from now on after that happened. But, it's one of those situations, ladies and gentlemen. We only got a couple of minutes, and I only want to spend a couple of minutes on this, but it is the biggest story in America right now. Trump disqualified from 2024 presidential primary ballot, Colorado Supreme Court rules. I I'm really sick to death of both sides trying to rig the election, whether it's allowing people to just flow into the country, hoping they'll vote for them, because that's why they're doing it, is to get more votes for themselves so they can make more money. You cannot disqualify somebody who has not been found guilty. Okay, the Supreme Court's going to overrule this, I would assume. And look, do I care one way or another? He was never going to make a dent in Colorado anyway, but whatever votes he would have in Colorado would count toward the national number. That's the only problem there. It would affect the national number. I just really wish both of these parties would come back and why don't you be Democrats again? Why don't you be Republicans again instead of the psychopaths that you both have become?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give you a prime example of what I'm talking about. Remember back in the day, many, many years ago, that I got just raked over the coals and oh my God, you're a horrible person. Because I said, assimilate or hit the goddamn road. Assimilate to our society, which everybody knows is a good thing. But apparently since I said it, it wasn't a good thing. And then when I wouldn't move toward that party, and I won't even say which party it was that did it, when I wouldn't join their party, they destroyed my voiceover career by saying things like, I said this and I was a racist and I was a homophobe, and it's all bullshit, right? So I have a question for you. I said assimilate or hit the goddamn road because assimilation is a good thing. But when I wouldn't come to your party or assimilate, you got mad at me. How can you have it both ways? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a very, very good point.
So I either have to assimilate to you, which I think is a good idea, by the way. Assimilation is a good thing. We all try to think on the same path, which we're so far from that in America and the world now. It's unbelievable because people keep rewriting the meaning of words. Assimilation has never been a bad thing, but they turned it into a bad thing. And then because I wouldn't assimilate to them, they punished me even more. So how phony are you? Right?
Right. Yeah. It's wild what the double standard that is just depicted in what you just said.
You know what I think? And this is my read on this whole deal. And Colorado was never going to vote for Trump anyway. Colorado's as far left as it gets, for Christ's sake. And I love Colorado, don't get me wrong, except their homeless problem is really bad there. Have you guys been to Colorado recently?
Not recently, no.
I think it was like 5 years ago, 4 years ago, I went and visited a friend. Yeah, I don't remember the homelessness, but I just remember that's one of the most spread out. Denver is one of the most spread out areas ever.
Yeah,
like you have to drive constantly.
So why don't we do this, and I'll get off this up because I don't want to spend a lot of time on the subject anyway. I find it to be totally preposterous and bullshit that you think you can keep somebody off a national ballot. You can't do that state by state. This is the United States. See, you can't change the outcome of the national election by taking them off your ballot, right? You can campaign against them all you want. I highly doubt the Supreme Court's going to let this stand. They'll probably throw it out. But here's the problem. People now think that they can change the rules, the laws, the outcome for the entire country just because it's what they want. That's a little selfish, don't you think?
Yeah, and this whole thing kind of felt performative. I saw like one of the articles that I read. They're like, well, they made sure they did this so that way he had time to appeal, so that way the Supreme Court could overturn it. So it was like they almost did it just because they knew it would get overturned, and now they can look good in their state. And so, yeah, I don't know. It felt performative, but
well, I think it's a pretty good argument, actually, Tevin. I think that's a really good argument that everything is for show. Now, well, first of all, everything is about money. This is absolutely about money. I got some speculation last night from a friend who might have a point. Judd has now joined us, and we're wrapping this story up, so it's not going to get really political or anything like that. But literally, the Colorado just shut down and said you cannot vote for Trump in Colorado, which is bullshit. They're going to overturn that. It's a national election, not just a local election. You can't affect the national election just because you feel like it. I know Minnesota tried to do it too, and that was thrown out immediately, which tip of the cap to Minnesotans at the top. It just, do you think this whole thing of disqualifying Trump from the ballot, and again, I don't even have a dog in this fight. I'm right in the middle of all of this, looking both ways going, are you both nuts? But do you think now it'll be, well, Trump, we're going to disqualify him? And then are they trying to get rid of Biden by doing this? Do you see the sneaky part of doing this? Because I certainly do. Hey, look over here. Well, we're trying to get rid of this guy. When actually we're trying to get rid of you. I've seen this happen before in elections. Like, yeah, look over here to my right hand and don't watch what my left hand's doing. I don't know. Is there a possibility they're trying to just distract everybody until they make the move? Oh, you know what? Joe's not feeling good. And I'm not saying he should be kicked out. That's not what I'm saying at all. My view of this is these people don't like anybody unless they personally pick them. And I think the younger people in this election, and I think, all the far left people, they are not wild about Biden. I mean, Hillary Clinton went after Biden last night on national news. Did you guys see that?
I didn't see it, but I'm not surprised.
Oh my God, she went after him big time last night, that he has no business being the president of the United States. Now I'm wondering who she wants to run. What do you think? Folks, it's all about money. Please understand that. The problem at the border, it's about votes. Therefore, it's about money. This thing is about votes. It's not about votes. It's about money. Like I said, I'm not involved in this. I don't support anybody yet. Are you guys having a bitch of a time finding somebody to support?
Yes. There's like when I heard that Donald Trump in Colorado they're like, oh, we're going to kick him off the ballot. It was like, can we also kick Biden off too? Can we just attach his name as like a little Klingon vote to, have him out too? Because there's no good options. It feels like at this point.
It's a mess. The whole thing's a mess.
I think exactly what you just said is exactly what I just said. I think going after Biden is part of this plan. Let's get rid of both those oldsters and get somebody in there who's 19 years old. What do you say?
You know what's weird? Why we've always had an age at which you can start to run for president. Why don't we have a cutoff age?
Thank you.
Yes.
No, we should,
Judd.
Just stick it within one parameter of age groups if that's what you're going to do. And because it can't be age discrimination if you have a cutoff, because then you technically, if that's age discrimination, then you have to let a 25-year-old run for president.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it can't work both ways. So if it does work the way that it is currently, just tell Biden and Trump you can't run. You're too old. Sorry.
There you go. And you know what? I'd go, okay, sounds good to me. What is the bottom? Is it 35 to be president?
Yep.
It's 35. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, why don't they make it 65?
Yeah. Just pick an age at which point, because part of the problem is a lot of these guys at their age though have the funds to run. Like I think what we need to do is do what you're saying, Tom. Eliminate the money as much as possible.
Yeah.
So
if you can.
So if you can take out, so if you say, just from what you said there, let's say 65 is the cutoff. You're going to be eliminating a lot of potentially very wealthy people, and that's not going to be a problem then.
Yeah, that's a great point. God, I don't recognize the show. Everybody's making great points. What the hell happened?
I just want us to get along. I just want the country to get along. Is that much to ask?
You're canceled, Judd.
It's also very weird coming from Judd. I didn't know he was the peacemaker.
Yeah,
that's never been your role before.
Peacemaker.
I'm big on common sense. Brittany. I'm big on common sense. I think our biggest problem is we lack common sense.
True. Well, the whole world lacks common sense at this point. It's the whole world's nuts.
You're right. You're right.
Jesus, Palman. And I just love the fact that all these buzzwords, because now the problem at the border is not too many people coming across. The problem is if we don't let them come across, we're racist. It's like, what? No. Most of the people I've seen might be a little Spanish, but I don't see a whole lot of very dark people coming across. I guess maybe they are, but I'm not keeping a close eye. What is their point?
Yeah, it's not racist to regulate and try to control the flow of people that are coming into your country. Like I don't think that falls under racism. If you get people that come in and you do it, quote unquote, the right way, and make sure that when they get here, they have, the place they're going and they're not just living homeless in the streets, exposed to danger. That's not
right.
But our problem is we're so fractured as a country. We have no idea. Like we just bitch and moan about this, but we don't have any plan. The biggest issue that I see is this, and this is true in a lot of walks of life now, as far as I'm concerned. and I think it's a generational thing. And my generation's part of the problem. There is never an adult in the room anymore.
No, true. It's a good point.
And I think that might have started. I was born in 1969. I think that might have started with my generation. I really do.
Way to go, Judd. You've ruined the world.
I had an apathetic high school class. We didn't really care about stuff, which is fine when you're guided, right?
Yeah.
Like when you aren't the adult in the room, who gives a crap? But I think starting with like my around that time period, you really, because part of our thing too is if you think about it, people my age didn't hit any real adversity until 9/11, at least on our soil.
Mm-hmm.
It is true. Yeah. If we could ever maybe take a little focus off money. Somebody said on national news this morning that the percentage of people on welfare in the United States is now 60%. Can that be true?
I would think so. And I believe it's probably easier to get on that type of program today than it was in the past. Maybe maybe it has something to do with it.
Yeah, but where are we getting the money? Where is 1/3 of the population getting the money to pay for the other 2/3?
That's a great question.
That's a lot of problems. And I don't want anybody starving in the streets. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm looking for. If they need help, they need help. But we got to do something about this. Somebody's going to have to step up and go, you know what? Get off your ass and go back to work because unless you're missing a foot, shut up.
And it could be different variants, like free bus fare is part of welfare.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it could
I don't care.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's not always the idea of this person gets 100% of their life funded.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like hey, it's not all or nothing. I'm just saying. So
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying they said that 60% of the people are on some form of welfare.
In Minnesota, it looks like 30%, but I don't know what the national.
Yeah, but there's 40% don't get off their ass and do anything either, so it may as well be on welfare.
I've got a small unpopular question.
Okay, I'm ready.
Are we ever going back to work?
Doesn't look like it.
No.
Are we ever going back to work?
No. You mean like
Do you
going
mean like,
back into the office?
Yeah, like
yes.
Oh, absolutely not. Because just from a business structure, if I know that I don't have to rent out this huge office building downtown and spend all this money, I can pay my employees the same because they think they're getting a good deal because they get to stay home. And now I just pocket all this extra money.
And are they working?
Oh, there were. It's Judd. I'll tell you this.
Some are, but are they all working?
I don't know, but I'll tell you this. The lines are so blurred between house life and work life. I would love if Justin went back into the office because he's constantly like, well, I better go write some emails. I'm like, I wish there was like a briefcase and at 6 a.m. he'd give me a kiss and head out and I'd wave and go to my thing and he'd come home and we would sit, he'd put his briefcase wherever.
Father knows best.
Yes.
Robert Young, leave the damn house.
And he would like, I would love that. And mostly because he needs that mental barrier for him to stop working. Cause otherwise he will always reply to emails. But I understand that that's not probably everybody.
Sign them up for one of those like group offices where it's like you just go in and you have your own, you know what I'm saying? Like the WeWork type of thing.
Should I just rent out a corner of my closet when I'm at home and he'll just be there? Yeah,
there you go. That'll be perfect. I should mention, by the way, very quickly, and I've talked about this on the air many times, but for new listeners, I am not damning welfare. Welfare is a wonderful system. My family, after my father was put in the nut house, would have never survived without AFDC, which was just ADC. It was Aid for Dependent Children. They changed it to AFDC. My family would have starved to death without welfare. There's no question. So I'm not condemning welfare. I'm condemning the people who are on welfare who don't need to be on welfare because you're robbing the people who do need to be on welfare. That's the problem I have.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Totally.
And there's always going to be there's always going to be, and I mean, this is true no matter what, there's always going to be a faction of society that games the system as much as they possibly can. God, yes. And I mean, that comes from people we've all worked with. You see it. It's like, I have met people who work harder not to work than if they just did their work.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Anytime you do something nice for one group of people, somebody's trying to take advantage of it. I mean, look at the PPP loans during the pandemic and everybody that was falsifying documents to get money from the government. So
yeah, they were. Yep, a lot of them. No question. Look, let's try to move forward. Somebody has got to step up as a leader, hopefully the president of the United States, and say, enough of this anger and hatred. Let us come together in the middle. And if you want to do it over me, then do it over me. That's great. But this hatred is a horrible lesson for our children. What are we turning our little babies into if all they ever hear is this garbage? Right?
And it's stressful on us. That's what
Absolutely.
I don't like. I'm selfish. It's stressful. Like there's no reason for it because it's like a constant cloud. Like you can't escape it. You try, but you can't escape it, and it's unnecessary.
Do we need a very powerful third choice? You got Democrats, Republicans, and the Brittany group.
Yeah, Brittany
Right
turns
there in the
35 this year.
Thank you.
Old bag. What?
I think you're Tom. I think you're right, Tom. I think we need the parties, to, if nothing else, just to define themselves as they once were.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Be a real Democrat and be a real Republican. Yeah. I could vote both ways. If you were real Democrats and Republicans, I'd vote for some Democrats, some Republicans. That's probably what I would do. Mm-hmm. Just this extremism. Nothing good ever comes from extremism that's this hideous, that's this ugly. Right?
Absolutely. Now the Brittany group I like though, because I feel like her first thing would be to legislate that her husband has to go back to work. Yep. And yes. I will say this, as part of the problem with people being home, mark my words, in 5 years we're going to find out the divorce rate soared. Husbands and wives were not meant to be at home together.
Judd for president.
Brittany's second decree will be making Taylor Swift somehow the national anthem.
Probably at least the Minnesota flag.
Yeah.
God, I'll tell you this, Judd, I've been married for 5 years, so only 5 years. So you can imagine the percentage of that has been during the pandemic.
Oh my God.
I feel like Justin and I should have just celebrated our 10-year because of how fast-tracked everything has been. So I think you're right. I think there's something about, and that kind of blows my mind that Judd's saying that because you don't want to leave home ever.
Well, but I don't want my wife home.
There you go. Like, that's a good argument.
Like she goes to work and she doesn't want me home. Like it's small things like the remote control. She wants the remote control. I don't blame her.
I want to play music in my house.
Yes.
And be home alone for an hour a week.
All right, Kevin McAllister.
Okay, I haven't done voiceover for a presidential candidate since who's the guy that wore the army helmet? Remember, he was driving around in like a tank. What the hell was his name again? You don't remember this?
When was this? What?
Oh God, this has to be 35, 40 years ago. Has to be. Yeah, I was doing. You should vote for this guy because he's a great guy and he's magnificent. And
oh my God,
I got to remember his name. I can see his face, but I can't remember his name.
Just to be clear, was I wrong?
AJ, how old do you think Tom is?
I don't know.
Who did he say?
She said Eisenhower.
I don't know when Eisenhower was president.
Was it Dukakis?
Yep, it was Michael Dukakis.
I just Googled. I love this. Army helmet president candidate. And Michael Dukakis came right up. God bless the Google.
And I did his voiceover. So guess how that worked for me in the state of Minnesota? Well, he was a very, very liberal guy. Well, to tell you the truth, until I don't know how many years ago it is now, my family was all Democrat. But that might have changed because I was Michael Dukakis. He's the guy and I'm doing all this stuff. And now I have to do one for Brittany Arneson for president. We'll save money. She talks so loud, she won't need a microphone. Savings right there for the American people. See, what do you think?
Yeah. You're welcome.
Serving C nationwide.
Yep.
Here's how she wins. Brittany is the candidate who will get your husband out of the house. She'll get all the female vote.
Are also wives. I'm going to be equal opportunity. I'm going to get your partner out of the house.
I love it. Yes.
So I can get both. There we go. Done.
You see this? Jude, once again, it's going to be every day at 8:27. He's knocking on the door yet again. So I'll be right back. I wish Catherine would just let him in when she leaves.
He's walking around back there. That's okay.
No, but he was whining. You didn't hear him whining?
No, I didn't hear any whining.
Oh,
My dog Stella barks, so that she insists on trying to make appearances each and every day on our show. So
when you go out your front door, do you go like this, Stella? Do you do the Marlon Brando thing?
That's why she's named Stella, Tom.
See, I knew it.
That's why she's named, so I can open up the door and yell, Stella!
That's one of the great movies of all time.
Oh God, that's why she's named that. Because I mean, I'm sure that the neighbors are sick of it after all these years, but what the hell?
Tough titty. I got to let him in. He's peeking in the window. You can see him back there peeking in the window.
Yeah, he looks very sad.
All right. Keep talking. I'll be right back.
When I married Justin, and he was really annoyed that our dog was named Robot. He's like, I'm an idiot yelling robot outside. And I was like, I don't think that's the reason you look like an idiot.
Well, growing up, I had the Rocky treatment.
I got quite the
life. Did you? Oh, all the time.
I
remember I did in Blaine, I did this like Buzzakini hockey camp, and one of the dryland guys, like we would go out there just constantly. We'd be like running back and forth. I'm like, and it's just off in the court, just 24/7. It was so annoying.
Magnificent. You guys got moved on to Stallone. I kind of like that. That works for me. Catherine, no, it wasn't Catherine. It was Alex that actually ran into him one time. I don't know where the hell she was, but from that point on, I should say, Catherine. Yeah, your buddy Sylvester Stallone has a new TV series, so now he's her buddy all of a sudden.
That's one of the best bits on the show. Is there was one day where like he came up, we were talking about him, and Catherine was just like, "Well, Alex, yeah, that's your friend. You had like lunch with him one day." And she's like, "Mom, I saw him at the same restaurant that I was at."
Well, and I think it was in Vegas anyway, because he happened to be in Vegas when the Q morning show went out there.
Oh, okay.
But then she ran into him again somewhere else. So she's run into him twice. So now it's in your buddy, Sylvester Stallone.
Close personal friend.
And I get stuck with Frank Stallone. How is that fair?
Yeah, it's not fair.
I actually like Frank Stallone, though. Frank Stallone is nuts, but I do like him. No question. All right. And is there anything to report in sports, or should we just stay away from sports for now?
Yeah, you know what? We can talk about sports tomorrow.
Okay. There's actually sporting events going on for tonight.
The Wolves played tonight. The Wild won last night.
Well, they did win last night.
Oh, yeah. Great game against Boston. 4-3 in overtime. But you know what's more important? That we're solving the world's problems.
Oh,
we are indeed.
I thought you were
We're solving the world's problems, and we're going to get the first female president. No one saw it coming.
Yes. I do have naked selfies out there. So when they show up, please send them.
You know what? Who cares anymore about that? That's so cliche and old now.
Thank you. I actually am excited to get them because I was 20 years old when I sent them, and my body's going to look fine as hell.
See, that's the thing. You should cancel yourself by leaking them out there and be like, hey, I look pretty good, didn't I?
Oops, who would ever have leaked these?
You got my vote.
Arneson@hotmail.com.
Also, why are they framed?
And why are they hanging it in your house?
Brittany, why do you already have autographed copies on your merch website? What?
It's on her T-shirt she's wearing for the presidential debate. Yeah.
You'd win.
All right, folks. Judge got to go, and we got to get going because we're already into the 9:31. Or 8:31 already. See, I looked. I got to change that clock back. I got to do it. Bye. I still had the time wrong. Jesus. It is 8:31. We'll take a break. Be right back. Chris Egert will join us. Let's take a second to talk about my bank, North American Banking Company. You've heard me talking about them for a long time now. When they opened in 1998, they made a promise to deliver a better banking experience for their customers, where you know your banker and they know you. Well, a lot has changed since 1998. This commitment to being a true community bank in the Twin Cities has not. So if you're looking for a better banking experience, why not bank with my bankers at North American Banking Company? Go to nabankco.com or stop by any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
When you need someone to listen, a lawyer you know and trust, with respect that you deserve.
Hi, I'm Mike Bryant. Over the years at holiday time, Bradshaw and Bryant has been able to help thousands of Minnesotans arrive home safely from the bars. This year, there's still lots of things that we can do to ensure that you stay safe on the roads, like slowing down, giving yourself enough time that you're not in a rush, no texting and driving, hands-free phone calls, and of course, no drinking and driving. Please be safe so that you get home to your loved ones. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. This year, my biggest wish is that we all remain happy, healthy, and even a little more kind to one another.
A lawyer who will fight with confidence and pride, working harder, going farther, with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
I am so happy to welcome back our longtime friend, Sabre Plumbing, Heating and Air Conditioning, to the show. I've known Steve, the owner, for many years. I completely trust Sabre to keep my house comfortable. You should too. Why? Sabre does everything the right way, that's why. And they always put the customer first, which I love. I love the team at Sabre because their service experts are experienced NATE certified technicians. They're not salespeople. Their pricing is completely upfront, and they fix only what needs to be fixed, nothing more. Sabre is dedicated to giving customers what they need when they need it and at the fair price, keeping your family safe and comfortable without breaking the bank. Give Sabre Heating and Air Conditioning a try. I know they'll take care of you just like they've taken care of me and my family. Whether you need a new Bryant furnace or air conditioner replaced or just simply need a service call to get you going again, go to saberheating.com. That's SABRE heating.com. Sabre and Bryant, whatever it takes. We'll get that done, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Grand Ole Creamery. The Grand Ole Creamy Holiday Cake. What do you think of that action, Buster?
Sounds awesome.
Win a customized ice cream sheet cake for you and your family this Christmas and New Year's from Grand Ole Creamery on Grand Avenue in St. Paul. I love that place. Featuring holiday-flavored eggnog and winter wonderland flavors through the end of the month. Enter now through the Tom Barnard Show app. Grand Ole Creamery. Who doesn't love Grand Ole Creamery? Everybody loves that place.
Good stuff. Great pizza, too.
See? Damn it.
I didn't even know they had pizza. Learn something new.
They used to back in the day because we used to get them for audience food when I did Twin Cities Live, which is like over a decade ago. So it's been a couple of years, but the pizza was really good, as I recall.
Oh, see, that's good. You know, it's one of the great times in your life if your children end up going, I suppose, to college in your hometown, because my daughter went to St. Kate's, my son went to St. Thomas, which is kind of weird because you went to St. Catherine's and he went to St. Thomas, and your parents' name are Catherine and Tom.
Oh, that is weird.
That's a little, I didn't even realize that till a couple of years ago. It's like, well, wait a second. That's very odd, isn't it? But the great thing about that, we go over to visit our kids because they lived in a house over in St. Paul. And just going to all those restaurants that I hadn't spent much, I used to go to St. Paul for certain, places, Lexington, places like that. But I learned about so many great restaurants in St. Paul because we'd go over there and eat lunch with or dinner with our kids. And that was a great experience, finding all those new things that I really didn't know about.
I hope you went to Cecil's, man. That is a great deli.
Now, I have been going to Cecil's for I told you my favorite story about going to Cecil's. First time I went in, this guy's looking at the menu. He's a sizable guy. He's got some heft to him. And he's looking at the menu and he's like, oi, it's look at it. Oi, Gewalt. He was just having a fit because everything looked so good. He couldn't figure out what to order. It was fantastic. Great place though. Yeah. Cecil's is first of all, that entire neighborhood. I love that whole neighborhood. Highland over there. Mm-hmm. Great. Minneapolis, St. Paul are completely different. And I love that. They're not the same city. And I really like that.
Have you seen that the whole Ford plant site that's been, it's like they're going to build this huge development there, and they've already kind of got it started on it, which is just down the street from Cecil's. It's pretty crazy that much space is available right in the middle of the city for redevelopment.
Because it was a Ford plant, a Ford truck plant, wasn't it? I think. So, yep. But that was around for as far back as I can remember. That thing was around, the Ford plant over there on the river. Mm-hmm. But very, very cool area. Great area, as a matter of fact. So what's happening in the news? I know some stuff is happening in the news. We already talked about the fact that Trump was disqualified, which, in my opinion, and I don't have a dog in this fight. I don't even know who I'm going to vote for yet. I'll figure it out. But there is no way a state can change the national election by doing this. You can't do that.
Well, I'm sure it's headed to the Supreme Court, right? I don't even think there's much of a question about that. But
yeah, Trump has no chance of ever winning in Colorado. He's got no chance, but the votes he gets go toward the national election. And you cannot change the outcome of a national election just because you don't like some guy. It's not legal. There's no way this is going to stand. No way.
that definitely was a big story today. Our biggest local story, I guess, we had was last night. There was a bunch of bullets fired into the window of a daycare in North Minneapolis.
I saw that.
While the kids were visiting with Santa on the inside.
Yep, they were talking to Santa, and they opened fire on kids talking to Santa.
Nobody knows whether it was intentionally fired at that, or, which actually is crazy, because then you think of, well, it's just such a common occurrence for there to be gunfire that is ringing out that nobody even knows whether it was intended for that or it was just, because gunfire, which our photographer was down the street shooting video of something else.
Ooh.
And he heard the bullets ringing out down the street. So it's crazy to have to live in that environment where, there's things like that happening all the time with the gun.
There's little kids in there. I mean, they're little children. What is it? You know what? I bet it was Hamas because they hate Santa. You think that's what the deal was?
I do not have any information that can verify that at this point.
It's speculation, but
Chris, was it a daycare that was in a building that was clearly labeled a daycare, or is it somebody's home?
It didn't look to be somebody's home. The building was kind of weird. That's why I have a hard time. Well, I don't know. The building sort of was, it definitely wasn't in a home. It looked like it was in kind of a office building-y type complex, but it also wasn't on the bottom level. It was this deal where it was like you park underneath, and then the office itself or the daycare was up in a building like one level up. That's kind of what it looked like from what I could tell from the video. So I don't even know that the person, had they intended to fire in there, had they even been able to see that there were kids and stuff in there. So I don't know, but either way, a bunch of little kids sitting there meeting with Santa Claus, and
nobody was hurt or hit.
No.
Okay,
good.
No.
Glad to hear it. Look, it had to be intentional. If it's one floor up, they had to have aimed up at it, correct?
I don't know. Who knows? If
That's
something was shot, something was shot, a gun was shot down the street. Depending on what the caliber of the weapon is, the bullets can travel, a lot further than you might think. But yeah, I don't know. And then there was another person who was shot and killed last night too in North Minneapolis. There's a big kerfuffle over the flag design. They finally came out with the one that they were going to go with, and of course everyone's bitching about it, and including some state lawmakers who think this may end up as a legislative issue. So during the legislative session.
Has there been pushback on? Because I saw some people complaining because it is very similar to the state of Somalia flag, where the 3 bar colors on the right-hand side are pretty much identical.
So they got rid of that part.
They got rid of that part.
I didn't see that.
I'll see if I can find the updated version.
So it's just the blue side that supposedly kind of looks like the state of Minnesota. I'm trying to draw it on the screen. Wait.
Yeah.
Looks like a pack of Marlboro Lights, the Marlboro menthol on its side.
You know what it looks like to me, swear to God? It looks like the kind of flag that Thurston Howell III would fly off his yacht. That's what that flag looks like.
Yeah, it's all light blue now on the side. Instead of
Yeah.
The fact that they wanted to go into legislate, I just go, why do you guys?
Why are we wasting our precious legislative time working on this flag? Just figure it out. Nobody cares that much, right?
No, not at all.
It's been 6 months now, Chris?
I don't think it's quite been 6 months. It feels like it's been 16 years, honestly.
Yeah.
AJ,
This is insane. It's fine.
Most of my adult life has been talking about this flag.
Probably true.
AJ, you sound like me. Last year during the session, I was going off about them spending all this time coming up with the Prince Rogers Memorial Highway through Chanhassen along Highway 5.
Very
And, like,
important.
all these hours of the floor of debate on the floor of the legislature, and they're talking about Prince and like coming up with all these cheesy lines like, "Dearly beloved, we have gathered here today. This road called life," all these like dumb things. I'm like, shut up, go do something else, go do something more important. Not to say that Prince didn't deserve a road. Don't get me wrong. I was just like, anyway.
The signs are up. It does say
They are
Prince.
up. Yep.
Yeah, the signs are up on the road, so he did get the highway, which is
They're very nice.
cool.
They're very purple and they're very nice.
It's like, I feel like, Chris, there's things that can just go to committees, and I'm fine with whatever those committees decide. The Prince Road and the flag, I'm fine with these committees. I also think it's so funny because 99% of people who say, I don't care about the flag, like, why do I care about the flag, are the ones coming out in drones going, I hate this flag so much. I'm like,
So dumb.
I don't care. I don't care which. It's fine. It's fine.
No, I have no argument with that. Look, I didn't even know it was on the old flag. It's been around my entire life. I had no idea what the old flag looked like. I never looked at the Minnesota state flag. Did you?
No, they could just get rid of it and I'd make no difference. Right.
That'd be provocative. Minnesota decided to just get rid of a state. We're not even going to have one.
Right.
I like it. I like the call. That's all I'm saying.
Or
Just
make
get
it out
rid
of clear plastic. It's just a clear.
Just see through. It's transparent.
It's whatever you see behind the flag.
I
That's
feel like-
what Minnesota is.
I feel like almost at this point, because we've made such a big deal out of this flag, like at the upcoming Olympics, if I'm a Minnesota athlete, instead of carrying the U.S. flag in, I'm wrapping myself in the Minnesota state flag.
Let's just commit. Like,
Looks
you
like a
and
bath
I,
towel anyway.
movie now, that's our personality. We love the flag.
I might just make a cape of the flag and just wear it around just for fun.
Absolutely. I just don't really understand why all this stuff needs to happen. We need to change everything because, well, no reason. We just do. I still do not understand why people thought that that flag was offensive. It looked like it honored people. Didn't look offensive to me at all.
I think it's just people interpret things different ways.
Yeah, how about totally interpret this? Here, take that on with you. What do you think?
And now we're left with this beautiful piece.
Look at that piece of
Dun,
junk.
dun, dun, dun.
I mean, it's a joke.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of
The state of Minnesota.
Frankly, I saw something that, because of the simplicity of it, I saw a lot of like different renderings of that flag using like different sports teams' colors, and I thought that was actually pretty cool. So that would that made me a little more sold on it. But also I just don't care enough. I never once. It's gonna be at the state capitol. It's gonna be at different government things. No regular person
wrapped around Kevin at the Olympics.
yes.
exactly
There
after
you
he wins
go.
the high jump. So that'll be fun to watch.
Indeed.
Yeah, it'll be barely used enough to actually like impact my day-to-day life. So I just don't care.
Yeah. I think you're right about that. I didn't even know what the old flag looked like, and I've been around a few years in the state of Minnesota. I had no idea what it looked like. So how important is this one that looks like I said, is something that Gilligan left on his island? That's what it looks like. So good. That's your flag. I'm happy for you. That's your flag. Good for you.
I'm here to make a bold prediction that the flag thing's going to become a thing during the legislative session. So
No question. You're right. All right, get off your ass and go to work.
all right, you guys have a good rest of your day. Are we on Friday? Are you?
Yeah.
When's the holiday start?
Holiday? You get a holiday from what? You work like a half hour a day, for God's
Oh,
sake.
stop! I have 10 jobs. All right, guys, have a good day.
Thanks a lot. Channel 5's Chris Egert, brought to you by Mr. Money Talk Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. Chris Egert, always enjoyable talking to Chris Egert. We will take a break and be right back. Another phenomenal guest coming up next. Dave Bielke will join us right after this. You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful. someone you can trust who gets results? Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor. Call Josh for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You got nothing to lose, and you get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. You'll be glad you did. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security and investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. I'm Tom Barnard, and I'm a paid endorser. Tom here, and I want to discuss a partnership that has been wonderful in my life, Zero Res Carpet Care. Very good friends of mine. Nothing is better to someone with a family than having a completely clean home. Your carpet is the biggest filter in your house. If you want to talk about pet dander or foot traffic, dirt from the outside, they all eventually reside in your carpet. So, Zero Res Carpet Care. Listen, around the holidays, you need to contact ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZEROREZ. That's 952-ZERO-RES. They clean your home with their electrolyzed pH-elevated water that doesn't use chemicals or soaps that smell like a janitor's closet like other cleaning services. How about a Tom Barnard deal? Well, here it is. Get 3 rooms, 0 resified, starting at $129, and don't forget your air ducts. Mention me, and they'll discount your air vents by $75 too. This is for the entire month, so call them right now, 952-0-RES, backward or forwarded, spells the same, or book online, ZeroResMinnesota.com. If it's available, ask for them to come to your place in the Tom Barnard named service truck. What an honor that was, by the way. Just mention me by name and get the special deal to get your home clean and your heart happy. Zero Res Carpet. You've all helped me support MyPillow and their employees in these tough economic times. Mike Lindell knows this, continues to give back to listeners with great deals on his most popular products. Right now, you can save 50% on Queen and King pillows, the original My Slippers, and the MyPillow 6-pack bath towel sets. Well, they're back in stock. The proprietary technology makes them extremely absorbent, yet still provides that soft feel you look for in a towel. The set comes with 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, 2 washcloths. Regular price is $79.98, and for a limited time, you can get this 6-pack towel set for only $39.99 with promo code TOM. That is a 50% savings. So go to MyPillow.com, use promo code TOM to save 50% on the MyPillow 6-pack towel sets. That is just $39.99 for a set. This deal will not last long. Enter promo code TOM for this special and many more. We do this show in the name of love. I don't know if you know that or not. Are you well aware of that?
Very much
Valentine's
so.
Day every day.
Valentine's Day every day. My God, Valentine's Day is only, what, about a month and a half away now? Something like that?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Sneaking up, no question about it. So everything else is good. It looks like we've settled all the problems. You had these national problems, local problems, state problems, city problems. We solved them all in the first hour. What more do they want from us?
Yeah. So everybody be happy because everything's fixed.
Be happy and understand something. The very thing you're pissed at me about, you say or do on a daily basis. How do you not recognize we're saying the same thing?
Yeah.
How do people not recognize that? Do they want to be pissed off? Do they want to hate people?
I think a lot of people are just stupid.
Well, I think that's a very good point.
Yeah. Or if they realize that, oh, we are kind of saying the same thing, they'll dig a little deeper to find the one, well, he said it this way instead of this way. And so
yeah.
That's why we're different.
That's a good point. No question about it. But I just, I kind of like that first hour of today's show. Dave Bielke is going to join us in a couple of seconds. But, it's just the flow is very interesting, very nice. Looking out from the inside like this, you see these things going on and you just go, why are we wasting time on this? Can we just move forward and let the people of the United States of America, the people with the voting rights, why don't you let them decide who should be president? I've had a few presidents that I thought were okay, or had a few that I didn't like, but did I march down the streets bitching about it? No. You guys are Americans. You chose them. So I got to follow along. If that's who you want, that's who you want. I can't think of a president I've ever really disliked, Democrat or Republican. I mean, it's whatever,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Settle down. We'll get through this. There should be balance. I do understand that. I wish what would happen is kind of like what just did happen, where Trump, a Republican, was president, and now Joe Biden, a Democrat, is president. I think every 4 to 8 years, they should just change out the president, and okay, now the other side gets to take over for a while. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not mad at, I wouldn't even be mad at them just getting rid of the parties, period. And like, you have to just say where you stand and live your lives, and like, don't get to be some part of some group and automatically people like you. Like, but
I like it. I think it's a good solution. Nobody, you don't get to be in a party. You're an American. Shut up. Right.
Yeah, let's get rid of fraternities and sororities too. Nobody gets to be a part of any
fraternities
group.
And sororities are the worst.
We're just gonna get rid of all groups. Sorry, you have to like stand on your own.
Apple slice house. Yeah.
Right. We have to spank you 16 times before you can get into our group.
All right, I'm in.
Whoa, bro. Why do you want to spank me so bad?
What?
Yeah, what is the spanking part about? What is that all about?
I don't know. It's so weird. It even happened in the military on birthdays. We're supposed to like spank kids, and I was like 25. And there was 20-year-olds turning 20 in Iraq, and they'd be like, "Okay, Hagen, go spank them." And I said, "No."
Brittany said, "Me next."
It's my birthday again.
Yeah,
It was your birthday last week.
That was another reason I changed my mind after one day of college and quit. Because as a high schooler, I was invited to some of the fraternity parties, the sorority parties, I guess fraternity parties more than anything. And I didn't like that either. I was like, really? This is how you guys act when you're at the house? You have 2 beers and you act like you're nuts?
Mm-hmm.
No, it just wasn't for me. College was just not for me. There's no question about it. And, I guess I'm living proof that you can do okay without a college degree, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely have to say thank you to Frat Row on the U of M campus.
Okay.
I did act a fool in their houses many times.
Yeah.
Prior to getting into college, like you said, I did have a lot of fun there. Yeah.
If you ever got hurt at like a frat party, would you be able to call like Dave Bialke, and is that like a workplace type situation?
Good question.
Like, was Dave in a frat?
I was not in a frat. I was invited early on in my first year of college, and I just got the sense that this was going to be a lot of fun to be in this frat, but I just got the sense that the guys around me weren't going to amount to anything. I didn't go further, and they were kind of upset. You're missing this opportunity, and it turns out later on, none of those guys did amount to anything. Most of them didn't finish college, and they were they just kind of floated off. And so I made the right decision there. Although, I'm not sure if I'm going to say that as a general rule, fraternities are bad, because a couple things. First of all, I do know a lot of people I know, friends and family members who are in fraternities and ended up doing really well. So for that, and then the second thing I'll say is, if we didn't have fraternities, we wouldn't have the movie Animal House, which is absolutely one of the top 5 movies in history.
Of all time, there's no question about it. Ladies and gentlemen, on the phone, joining us now, live, Dave Bialke, brought to you by Bialke Law Firm. Heard at work, Dave Bialke goes to work for you. Taking care of your workers' comp injury claims and denials, call 763-571-2410 or go to BIALKElaw.com and tell them Tom sent you. So, Mr. Bialke, what is there one thing in law that you've always wanted to talk about, but you've never been able to talk about? Do you have anything like that?
That's a good one. You're talking about, just a couple minutes ago, you're talking about the presidential election, who we get there and so forth. And you're absolutely right about, people, they get angry about it. And it goes both ways. Because when Trump was president, there were plenty of people saying that. Now Biden's president, people are like, he's not my president and all that. That's not true. He is your president.
Yep.
For a long time, we've had various presidents that lost the popular vote, and they're saying, well, he can't be president. Well, that's not how we elect a president. This is kind of a legal thing. Getting into the legal thing is a constitutional law. This is not how we elect a president. We elect with the Electoral College. Other countries think it's strange, but other countries don't have the demographics that we had when we formed our country.
Right.
And so it was a compromise, came about, and here we are. We're still a country 250 years later, which how many countries can say that? So it's it is how we elect the president, good or bad. It's frankly it works for us. So when your guy is in, or sometime it'll be your lady's in, you're happy. when your guy's not in, you're not happy, but he's your president, and don't say he's not my president. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I'd say that's a very good argument. Whether you voted for this person or not, they are the president of the United States. So could you maybe get your head out of your ass once in a while and show some respect? They're the president of this country, right?
Mm-hmm. Whether you agree with them or not, that's why we have differences in our country, and that's why we have a two-party system, and it's worked for us. I do kind of like your idea there. There should be a rule, they do have the rule. You can only serve 2 terms, but there should be another that, okay, if you do have 2 terms and your second one's over, it automatically flips to the other party.
Love it.
That wouldn't, balance. I think that's a pretty good suggestion.
Yeah, I mean, there's balance that way. So, first of all, and if anybody and I'm not saying any specific election was elected or messed with. That's not what I'm saying at all. But actually, people have tried, and I'm not even saying they have succeeded, but people have been trying to cheat at elections forever. And again, I'm not saying it ever worked, but I'm just saying people, if they get a chance to cheat, will cheat. Why is that?
Yeah, it goes back to the it was a Daley in Chicago. The voter vote often.
Yep.
That was yes. There's always been cheating. Obviously, we're in a different scale recently. That it was alleged, but there's always been some type of a cheating in politics. But we as a society we need to keep control of that. That's you can't have then we turn into a third world republic, and where it's the elections are a farce. We can't have that. We need real elections, and we do.
See, one of the great things about growing up in North Minneapolis, when I was, I believe, 8 years old, I think it was, might have been 9, but I think it was 8, when John F. Kennedy was elected president of the United States, which my mother had an absolute fit about because he was Roman Catholic. Toots was a big-time Roman Catholic, so she was all excited and fired up and blah, blah, blah. But then, of course, a lot of the Irish and Italian people in my neighborhood educated me the fact that JFK's father had connections to the mafia. And all of a sudden, now a guy who's connected to the mafia's son is president of the United States. You know how that hit me right between the eyes as an 8-year-old, 9-year-old kid? Like, really? Organized crime? And then I went, I guess that makes sense, doesn't it? It actually does make sense, I guess. But,
there were some times decades ago that, really, they controlled the United States. And that's now, I think, been tempered to the degree they're almost a non-factor. But for about 30 years, they controlled all politics in all the major cities, and all the way up to the president, who was, I think most people would agree, one of our greatest presidents. And he, where does ultimate orders come from? Well,
well, who that
filtered through a few families.
Yeah, the sad part of that is the whole family had to pay for that at the end. I mean, they all ended up, JFK and RFK being massacred, and Ted Kennedy did a good job of destroying himself. It was a very, very sad outcome, unfortunately.
And then it goes down to nephews and so forth. That whole family is dysfunctional with the power, and it started with.
Yep.
With JFK handled it well for his brief presidency. He handled his power really well, and then it was just a downfall after that.
Pretty much the truth. But, we slogged through. We get through. Made my mother happy to see a Roman Catholic. And Joe Biden's Roman Catholic. He's the second Catholic president we've had. Good for them. Good for you. All the rest of it. So,
I was raised Catholic, and I never understood I remember hearing about that he was the only Roman Catholic president, and I never understood why. The Roman Catholic is a very large Christian religion in the United States and a lot of power, and I never understood why there's only one. And then later, I heard the theory was that they were going to get their orders straight from the Pope.
Right.
That was the understanding, or that was the belief amongst non-Catholics, and I'm like. I had a really rough time wrapping my arms around that was actually what their thinking was, that somehow the Pope was going to run the country. I just didn't see it.
I got to ask you a question. I grew up Catholic and all the rest. I'm not the most religious guy in the world, but I grew up Catholic. Did I see that the Pope came out and supported gay marriage?
What he did was, and I'm similar to you. I was raised Catholic, but I'm not a religious guy right now.
Right.
But I'm. What I understand, he did not sanction gay marriage itself. What he said was essentially, we need to love everyone, whether you're gay or not. We're going to treat you the same, and we're going to love you the same. That's so. But he did not actually say we're going to support gay marriage in the church.
Oh, I see. Okay, I didn't see the story.
Yeah, that's what I read, and so he stopped short of saying that we're going to, you're going to be able to get married in the Catholic Church. He stopped short of that, but basically, all the way up to that, said, well, hey, you're gay. We're not going to criticize you. We're not going to excommunicate you from the church. We are going to support you like any other parishioner, which I thought was a huge step in the Catholic Church.
I do. To people that need to understand what a gigantic step that is for the Pope of the Catholic Church to do. I haven't seen the story much. That was a story run widely in the country.
Yeah, it was 3-4 days ago. It was.
Oh, was it? Okay, good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, good. I mean, that shows a set of seeds on a Pope. I'll tell you that, because I'm telling you, could you have done that 50 years ago? No way, not a chance.
Not at all. Not at all. I grew up in a conservative Catholic household, and my dad was a really good guy, treated everyone very well. But if you turn the clock back and put him in there, he would have gone ballistic or something like that. Today, if my dad was alive right now, he might think differently, because I think he was, had some progressive part to him. But if you look back in the way it was years ago, no, that would have just been an absolute shock.
God, you just reminded me of this magnificent moment in my life looking back. I'm a young boy, probably, again, 8 or 9 years old, something like that. Went to visit one of my school friends. It's really not necessary to say what nationality they were, because you could probably guess anyway. But I walked in the house, and I remember to take off my shoes, because you always had to take off your shoes. But I forgot to take off my hat. Oh boy, Dad did not like the fact that I was wearing a hat in his house. He said, you take that hat off and go put it on top of your shoes. So I said, okay. And I went over, put my hand on top of his shoes. He goes, now I want you to go over that picture of the Virgin Mary and beg her forgiveness. I'm like, okay, no problem. I'm 8, 9 years old. I wore a hat too long, so I'm hoping the Virgin Mary forgives me. Which, I loved. I kind of loved it in a way, actually, right?
Oh, that reminds me of a story. And I was older. I was probably in my mid to late 20s, and back home in northern Minnesota, and we went to church, and there was a guy who was in the row or two in front of us, and he was wearing a baseball cap. And my dad was a former Marine and very, conservative Catholic and all that. Just your typical, from that generation. And my dad gets up and he walks to the side. He's got his cane. He walks to the side of the pew, walks two rows up, looks at him and gives him this big glare and motions to his hat. The young guy took the hat off, and the guy was like white. My dad didn't say a word, just the look on his face. But we were all trying to keep from laughing.
See, I love that kind of stuff. That's a different generation right there. There's no question about that. But show some respect. You're in my house, show respect. I got no problem with that. Once again, it's assimilation. Assimilation is a wonderful thing. When you're in my house, you have to act like us. Okay. Got no problem with that. None whatsoever. So anything else big going on in the world, Dave?
Not really. Nothing exciting for Christmas. Typical with some relatives in town here, but that's it. Not going anywhere.
Oh, that's very nice. Well, we will talk to you after the first.
We're waiting for the snow that's not going to come. So.
Yeah, it's not going to come. Yeah, that's very, very true. But we'll have a wonderful holiday season. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Kwanzaa. We just went through, several different. There are like 5 or 6.
Happy Hanukkah. I don't think
Happy Hanukkah. We did that. Absolutely. No question. But so have a wonderful holiday time, and we'll talk to you right after the first of the year.
All right. Thank you. All you as well.
Right. Thanks a lot, Dave. Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Bialke joining us, brought to you by Bialke Law Firm. Heard at work, Dave Bialke goes to work for you, taking care of your workers. Comp injury claims and denials. Call 763-571-2410 or go to Bialke Law. That's BIALKE law.com. Tell him Tom sent you. I really like Dave. Dave's a good. I didn't know he was a Catholic kid though. Bialke. What kind of name is Bialke? I should have asked him that.
Sounds like Norwegian or something.
Oh, does it really?
I don't know. Maybe
there's not a lot of Catholic Norwegians. I know that they're pretty much Protestant. I suppose there must be some. I would guess.
Maybe Italian.
A lot of them in Canada.
Yeah, you know,
Bialke. Hey, Bialke.
A Bob Sansevier relative.
That's definitely.
I think that's what it is. So Bialke, you think is
it could be like an Italian or something like that. You know, in that.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Taking a wild guess.
I like working with the guy. That's all I know. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
So what else is happening? You guys, you know, the one thing I do love about having people on the show, because things pop in your head that happened to you when you were a kid. And I did deeply drill all those things into my brain, because what I like about that so much is I can still picture the look on his dad's face when he said, go over and put your hat on your shoes. And then you got to go say, I'm sorry to the Virgin Mary. It's a great memory. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, yeah. The rules of the house are the rules of the house. It's right. Very, very nice. So what else? You hear him?
No.
Oh, he's snoring up a storm.
What a guy.
What a life.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Jude's got a horrible life. There's no doubt about it.
Abused.
What?
Oh, no, I said he's just abused, like the poor dog. He just gets to snore and sleep all day.
Oh, yes. Such abuse. There's no question about it. I was distracted a little bit because it looked like Brittany was trying to release some scabies from her chin or something. What the hell are you doing?
I just sat up.
No, you went like this.
I just fixed my hair.
Oh, you fixed your hair. I thought you were scratching your neck. I'm like, what the hell?
No, I never know what to, I mean, if you watch the podcast and you ever see me in headphones, I never really know what to do with my hair. So it kind of just looks like my hair is attached to my headphones kind of vibe. Like it's a wig. It's like all part of it. So
well, I could see that. Why did you guys send me this headline? I now have to read the story and I blame it on you.
It was Brittany.
Cop accused of jacking it in a patrol car. Jesus.
What?
Oh, don't give me that. What?
That was AJ.
Yeah.
That was definitely AJ.
Oh, there's a picture of the guy, too. Why do I have to look at his picture while I'm reading a story about him cuffing the carrot? Why?
Cuffing the carrot. That's a great reference for a cop.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
Oh.
I would imagine that's probably the situation. Cop accused of masturbating in patrol car as his racy content page discovered. Let me ask you a question. So now guys banging each other in the Senate House. We got cops whacking off in a car. What the hell happened to the world?
Yeah, I don't know. And like next time, Officer Dave, just do it at home. Like,
Officer Dave, he'll love that one.
Like it just blows my mind because I go, I mean, are you that busy? So they have to multitask on that level. Like there's a time and a place, sir. And
cuff the carrot.
Well, it's also you're not scheduling it for 2 or 3 people. You're saying I need alone time for this amount of time. Like,
aren't there internal dash cams that are always on in the car too?
Right.
I thought.
Yeah.
I always thought. Oh, there's a picture of him. He looks familiar. I mean, he must. What I'm saying, I guess, is he looks just like somebody. Do you know who I'm talking about? Have you seen his picture?
I've seen his picture. I don't know who he looks like.
I don't know.
He looks just like somebody, but I can't think of who it is.
This story gets really, really gross.
Well, good. It'll fit right in my wheelhouse.
Oh my God, I read ahead.
I read ahead too, and it's not good.
Don't be reading ahead. You're supposed to have a natural reaction to these stories. Don't be reading stories ahead.
I won't read ahead, but his picture, he does look, I would say, he has that generic cop face.
Yeah, he kind of does. That's a good point.
Like, I feel like I've seen this guy everywhere.
Okay, now I'm assuming I'll be horrified because both of them read ahead.
I'm scared.
Which would be really nice if they didn't, so they'd have a natural reaction.
I'll react the same.
But No, it's too late. It's too fake. A county deputy in the U.S. has been arraigned after alleged instances of exposing himself and committing sex acts, including masturbating in a patrol car. Yamhill County Sheriff's Office Deputy David Richard Mills has been hit with 12 charges relating to allegations of creating pornography while in uniform. Documents show incidents between 2022 and 2023 were shared in court documents that have led to charges of official misconduct, public indecency, disorderly conduct, and abuse of venerated objects. What the hell does that mean?
I don't know.
Oh my God. Oh, so I got to click on the story. I thought it was at the under his.
No, you just got to scoot down a little bit. That's why they just really put a lot of ads in this story.
Yeah.
Oh, they did. You're right. Holy God.
Jump down to under the cowboy. Well, I have an ad for a cowboy thing.
Yeah.
It was also alleged Mills, 36, allegedly posted indecent photos of videos both to X and OnlyFans. The allegations include masturbating in his patrol car and posting the video online. Okay, if you did whack it in the patrol, why would you ever post that online?
So, I mean, the OnlyFans, I guess, makes sense if he's going to be a content creator and like he's trying to make money.
Yeah.
But to post it on X, like now you're just asking for it.
According to Fox 12, Mills allegedly masturbated into a water bottle of another person with the intent of the person drinking it. What a
my God,
this guy is. Oh, nice fake reaction there.
No, that was totally genuine. I told you that was going to be the same.
He is also accused of sharing that video online for financial benefit on January 5th, 2022. Mills allegedly posted a picture with his penis exposed while in uniform on April 2nd. Well, he couldn't even go with April Fool. It was the day after April Fool.
Oh, he had something bigger planned probably for April Fools.
Probably
actually doing his job.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it? He's also alleged to have exposed his penis in the sheriff's office August 6, 2023. Mills was taken into custody on December 17th, processed by the Yamhill County Courthouse. According to his release agreement, the judge released him on the condition he's not allowed to be seen publicly, including online, wearing any law enforcement insignia. As reported by CBS 7, Benton County District Attorney John Haroldson said, "We understand that the community has a high level of expectation for the professionalism of those who work in public safety. When there is any breach in that professionalism, we take that very seriously." Yamhill County Sheriff's Office confirmed the employee depicted in the content has been placed on leave. So he still hasn't been fired. What do you think of that?
It shows you how desperate they are to have police officers, because all it takes is one of these many incidences to be fired. Like there should be no question. You're supposed to protect and serve, and you're serving yourself.
Okay, so the bar for being on the radio or whatever our job is pretty low. Like you don't have to be that great in general to just have this career. If I
Why
ever
are you pointing at me when you say that?
I was just looking at you aggressively. If I ever masturbated in this studio and anybody found out, I should be fired, right? Like, and my responsibilities are low. I feel like this is wild that this person is on leave right now.
Well, and the fact that he did it into a water bottle with the intent of like what, his partner?
Yeah, right.
What?
That feels like probably not a hate crime, but somewhere along it.
It feels hateful.
Oh God, that's insane. How are you just on leave? You should be on permanent leave, as in fired. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's.
If you want to commit to the OnlyFans thing, I feel like being a cop and doing it on the clock is not. There's a Venn diagram that doesn't have either of those overlap.
Right. Great times to masturbate. On-duty officer is not a great time.
No. No.
I have a question for you.
Fire away.
So does this guy, he's not married, doesn't have a girlfriend, doesn't have a boyfriend, doesn't have anybody. See, to me, I guess maybe I was lucky, but to me, sex is a very intimate thing to, I didn't go around like banging everybody in sight. Not that I could have anyway, don't get me wrong, but sex to me has always been a very intimate, loving thing. Or at least appreciation of one another. I don't understand the excitement of I'm wearing a cop hat, whacking a mole in the cop car. What's so exciting about that?
Yeah, I don't know if like that specific, because like you went through one side of the spectrum to all the way to the other. There's like a middle ground that can be fun, right?
Is there? Like what?
Yeah, like maybe Brittany, when she dated, met somebody who was fine as hell, like rubbed bodies together and went and lived our lives. But like, I'm fine with that. Like, it's a consensual.
No. You're right.
Yeah,
but it wasn't
like,
public. It wasn't in public. That's it.
No,
well, maybe
God,
it was
no.
in public. Oh,
like,
I think it was in public.
I barely poop in a public bathroom. Okay, there's no way I'm having public sex. Okay,
I understand that.
I'm just imagining this guy like in the middle of making one of these videos, and then all of a sudden, a 1029 comes out over the thing. Somebody's calling for backup or whatever, and he's got to come around the corner, tucking his shirt in. Like, what did I miss? What did I miss? Like, dude, you had one job. Just don't masturbate in the car.
Yeah, that's all we're asking. And by the way, just to get kind of back to where we were, I do have one question. This whole deal. So that intimacy, does that also include people like kicking you in the nuts and stuff like that? Because they think that's a very sexual thing to do.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to get kicked in the nuts.
You really wouldn't.
No.
Because yours are deeply embedded.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, people are into some weird stuff. I remember when what was the magazine that would always have like your people, what type of
Penthouse?
No, like where you could take a quiz and figure out what celebrity you are. And
like Cosmopolitan.
Yeah, like that type of stuff. And be like, how kinky are you? And then you take it and you'd be like, oh yeah, I'm kinky. And then nowadays it's like, if you don't like getting hot wax poured over you and stepped on, like you are just a regular person.
Yep.
Tom, I don't even get it. I don't get it, Tom.
I don't get any of it. Like I said, I just, Well, I'll give you an example. I told you we went out to dinner last night, right? This is how intimate Catherine and I are. We've been together for 43 years. We'll be married 40 years on July 7th. Been with her forever. Love the woman dearly. So we went to dinner last night, and she shared a bottle of wine with her friend, Joyce. Had a great time. So I got up this morning. I'm doing the show, and I noticed she's going to take Jude out for a walk. So I got there, and I said, okay, so you hung over it all? She had 2 glasses of wine. That was it. So I said, you hung over from boozing it up last night? She looks at me and goes, that'd be none of your goddamn business. And then just left. See, that's why I love that woman so much.
You're a masochist too. Look at you. You just like kicked in the emotions. I know
in the emotions.
I know that like that, yeah, like you guys have that relationship. And like, I know that I don't like abuse because I fell off my treadmill yesterday and I can't imagine paying somebody to do what my treadmill did to me yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
No, thank you.
I understand that completely. Did you get your butt get stuck under the back end? Is that what happened?
No, I got bruised. I got weird bruises everywhere though. I got a huge one on my leg, or 2 or 3 huge ones on my legs. Terrible. Yeah.
Speaking of butts getting stuck under the back end, I know we've got Mr. Blanks waiting in the waiting room. Do we want to bring him on now or do we want to go to break?
We will go to break and bring him right on right after that. Correct?
Beautiful.
Or should we just we definitely have to do this first. So we'll be right back in just a couple of minutes with Brad Blanks. Looking forward to it. You know the song Kokomo, it's supposed to be off the Florida Keys, right? Well, I hate to break your Beach Boys bubble, but that's a fictitious place they made up for the song. Fortunately for the rest of us, the Florida Keys island chain are as real as the taxes you have to pay in Minnesota if you're a resident. Now, that's a reason to move south. In addition to Florida and all of Monroe County being beautiful, the Keys from Key Largo to Key West are even more beautiful, and I'm not making that up. They are. This is Tom Barnard, part-time Florida resident myself, and if you want a second house or a new retirement home, let's say, or want to become a Floridian, may I suggest you contact Matt Carlson from One Key West Realty. Matt grew up in Litchfield. He's a super real estate agent. When it comes to finding your tropical island space in the Keys, he lives there and here, and Matt knows what's best in Key West to buy for your second home in Florida. Matt teamed up with fellow Minnesotan from Sartell and Alexandria, Kristyn Eklund, who's one of the top mortgage brokers in the country from Coast to Coast Mortgage. She'll get you the financing you need to buy a home in Florida or in Minnesota. Matt's part of the Lake Sotheby's International Realty Group here in Minnesota, and Kristyn, his mortgage colleague, lives and works in the Keys, so they both know the Florida Keys new and existing homes for sale. And they are Minnesotan through and through. Contact them by heading to onekeywest.com. That is onekeywest.com. Tom here, and I want to discuss a partnership that has been wonderful in my life, Zero Res Carpet Care. Very good friends of mine. Nothing is better to someone with a family than having a completely clean home. Your carpet is the biggest filter in your house. If you want to talk about pet dander or foot traffic, dirt from the outside, they all eventually reside in your carpet. So, Zero Res Carpet Care. Listen, around the holidays, you need to contact ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZEROREZ. That's 952-ZERO-RES. They clean your home with their electrolyzed pH elevated water that doesn't use chemicals or soaps that smell like a janitor's closet like other cleaning services. How about a Tom Barnard deal? Well, here it is. Get 3 rooms, 0 resified, starting at $129, and don't forget your air ducts. Mention me, and they'll discount your air vents by $75 too. This is for the entire month, so call them right now, 9520-RES, backward or forwarded, spells the same, or book online, zeroresminnesota.com. If it's available, ask for them to come to your place in the Tom Barnard named service truck. What an honor that was, by the way. Just mention me by name and get the special deal to get your home clean and your heart happy. Zero Res Carpet.
This is Bob Sansevier, and I want to tell you about Dave Bialke from Bialke Law. Dave represented my wife, Mary, when she had a significant workplace injury. She was very happy with the job Dave did. If you have a work-related injury and have Dave represent you, I'm betting you'll be happy too. Dave is a down-to-earth guy. He grew up in northern Minnesota, rides a Harley, and worked various jobs doing concrete, electrical, plumbing, roofing, and carpentry work. Dave works for people with work-related injuries. If you work construction, or anywhere for that matter, hurt or even just hurting, you should talk to Dave. Let's face it, our bodies wear out. If your body is worn out from work, if your knees or back or shoulders hurt from things you do at work, do what Mary did. Call Dave and talk to him about it at Bialke Law to set up a free initial consultation. The number to call is 763-571-2410. That's 763-571-2410. Or visit bialkelaw.com. That's BIALKE law.com.
Guys, if you want to reignite your intimacy once and for all, listen, just give Twin Cities Premier Health a call for a discreet and confidential in-office evaluation by their highly trained staff of medical professionals. Acoustic wave therapy sessions are 25 to 30-minute treatments with no pain, no downtime afterward. And right now, Twin Cities Premier Health is offering a free treatment and a free consultation when you book today. Receive this $800 value when you use code word TOM at TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. You may know that age-related erectile dysfunction is most commonly caused by a buildup of plaque in the arteries that supply blood to the erectile tissue. Acoustic wave therapy can rescue your relationship and has been clinically proven to break up plaque and improve blood flow to the penis. Definitely take advantage of this limited time special offer. Receive a free treatment and free consultation when you book today. This is a savings of $800 when you use code word TOM at TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. I wouldn't recommend a service like this unless I knew they could help you. Oh, he's already nodding yes. So he's got all the answers. I was going to ask, do you have all the answers? He's already nodding yes.
No answers. I'm a simple man. But
you're a simple man, are you? Okay.
Yeah, very simple.
I understand. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the lovely and talented Brad Blanks.
Tom, great to see you. Great to see you, Brittany. AJ, Tevin, how you doing? Pumped. Hey, I've got to tell you too, and I know Brittany was inspirational, 10 years ago to me. But I actually haven't had a drink in 3 months.
Whoa!
Wow, that's impressive, Brad.
Good. I feel incredible, and it's especially brilliant to not be drinking around this period because my head is sane amongst madness of holidays and getting ready and whatever. I mean, I've been tempted a bit to drink this week. Yeah, that's all, but I've pushed through and I feel much better for it.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I can see the thought bubbles of both AJ and Tevin thinking, wait a minute, you have to drink. You're Australian.
That's right. No, I know. It's AJ, Tevin, it's weird. I've got a fair share of drinking.
The Red Stripe? Isn't that the biggest?
No, Foster's, right?
Foster's. It's because it's Australian for beer. There we go.
Red Stripe is Jamaican.
Yeah, Red Stripe's Jamaican. That's right. Island countries. That's right.
But Brad, is it a like a lifestyle change for good, or you just
Oh, not for good. We don't know for good, but from a health perspective, I thought let's try something, and to be more focused for Tom. When I'm talking with Tom,
absolutely.
Not to be scatterbrained, to be like really enjoying the moment when I talk to you, opening my mouth when I talk, that sort of stuff.
Good look.
Yeah, thank you.
There's no question about it. No, to tell you the truth, I'll be honest with you, and Brittany can tell you the same thing. It's been, I think, 12 years now. I don't even know how long it's been, but I think it's been 12 years.
Wow.
I couldn't give a rat's ass less. I love to drink and I love to not drink. Whatever, it's just different, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I had a guy at a Christmas party the other night just go straight away to me, "Did you go to rehab?" And I went, No, what? No.
I mean, I did, but
Yeah, it was well done, Brittany. Good.
it's an aggressive question to ask. I don't think.
Wow, I know.
I definitely, Brad, you fall in my kind of situation a lot where I bet you people assume you're drunk in a lot of places and things because you're just a fun time. So you were a fun drunk and you're going to be a fun sober guy.
Yeah,
whatever, however long you do it.
The weirdest thing about it is I feel high when I'm at these social engagement because I think the clarity puts you into a different orbit again when you're talking to people. When you're really because you're concentrating, right? So it's like woo, and you're locked in on conversations, and my eyes widen anyway, so it looks like I'm snorting something.
Well,
so and then I still sweat. Like the sweat still happen and all that. So I have all the normal things that happen when I'm drunk anyway. So why not be drunk and enjoy it even more? So I've actually loved the social part of it and going out, and I haven't found that a problem at all. So no. So far so good, and I'm losing weight and feeling strong, and I do not class this as a midlife crisis. I've already been through that. Yeah.
You'll be fine. Don't worry about a thing. No big deal. It's really not that hard. I suppose, for certain people, it's a hell of a lot harder than some people. And I was very, very lucky. It sounds like you guys both were too. That didn't bother me in the least. Like, whatever. That's right. Because it was pretty much, hey, you like wine or Catherine?
Yeah, right. No, I'm finding that with my business too. I think I'm better, and my snoring might have decreased. I don't know. I haven't asked that question yet. But
it's a great move though.
Yeah, I'm a story. But so I'm bringing you some interviews today, Tom. George Clooney and a gentleman called Callum Turner. The movie is The Boys in the Boat. I don't know if any of your movie reviewers put this on yet, talked about it. Nope. Right? Oh, it's a guy. I loved it. This was a good movie. It's a sports movie, so you've got that the underdog coming from behind and hoping for glory, and it's about the 1936 Olympic rowboat team, the American rowboat team, rowing. So I should say not rowboat, not the romantic rowboat that Tom you took out on. Well, you went out in Lake Minnetonka with Catherine when you were young love and looked in her eyes. Is that what happened? Yeah. So
still told me,
Tevin knows all about that romantic moment Tom had with his then fiance. Anyway, rowing. It's an 8-man crew rowboat, and it's an incredible story. It's based on a book that apparently was huge and very well received. And so George Clooney directed this movie, so you don't see George in it at all. Ladies will enjoy looking at this gentleman, Callum Turner, and 7 other fellas in there with big thighs and wide shoulders. I'm sure Brittany will get it. She'll get she'll like that. She'll enjoy that. But it comes out on 25th of December. And fantastic story about this team. And of course, it's based up in the University of Washington up in Seattle, and it's about right around after the Depression. But one kid, Callum Turner's character, is living in a beat up old car and struggling to feed himself, and then joins this team with no experience at all, like the other guys, and they go on. It's fantastic. But I caught up with Callum Turner for a chat about learning to row a boat.
Callum Turner, how are you, mate?
I'm good, Brad. Nice to see you.
Making this movie, was there a moment where you reckon Clooney was worried about your strokes, your in the boat?
Yeah, after 3 weeks of intensive boot camp, he came down with Grant and he gave us a big thumbs up, and there was a big smile on his face, but I could see the fear in his eyes. We were awful that day. We set ourselves the target of 46 strokes per minute, which is what the guys did in the boat for real. Oh, wow. After 2 days of rowing, I thought, nah, that's impossible. We ain't gonna do that.
You weren't gonna do it?
No chance.
But you got to it.
Somehow the second last day, the more we went on with this, with the shoot and with the training, the further it felt. And then the second last day we did it, man. I don't know how. I can't explain it.
So you've had a great few years. Is it crazy to think that Clooney's sort of kicking your butt there as your director, like pushing you to do better?
Of course, man. And I loved every second of it. I love him with all my heart. taught me so much, and he's like big brother, you know.
Really?
Yeah.
Good romance in this movie, but it's a sports movie. How do you feel about entering that world of being a great sports movie?
I love it. Brad, I love it. Now loads of people want to talk to me about rowing. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm into it. I want to be part of the rowing community.
So you'll be at the Paris Olympics just rolling around,
Yeah, basically, I'm going to row there from England. Along the Thames, I'm going to row to Paris.
Good man. Yeah, thanks, Callum.
Happy guy, pumped up. I think he had a few before he hit the red carpet, Tom. That's the other thing. Your radar's pretty good when you're not on the gas yourself, you know.
Right, right.
But no, good guy, and he does a great job in this film. And it's a ripper. But now, George Clooney. Now, I kick off this interview talking to him about my back. I was trying to get a back analysis because I know over the last 15 years he's sort of hurt himself for his job. I think about 5 years ago, he had a motorbike accident and really hurt his back and was in quite a lot of strife. That was in Sardinia as he was making a movie down there. And I remember Syriana was the movie back in the late O's. It was a Middle Eastern movie, very good film about the CIA. And he got tied to a chair and tortured in a scene. And I think he had, spinal fluid was mentioned then as well. So I opened this interview up just talking about my back because I feel that since I've given up the Terps, I've got more structurally stronger. So I wanted to get a bit of an analysis there. But this movie, George directs it. He starts off confident, with these boys, these actors that he's trying to turn into rowers. But we cover a few other issues as well about life. Here's my chat with George Clooney.
George, I've missed you. Brad, it's been a long time, mate. We were talking about your back injury 10 years ago,
Was it that long? How's life? What's going on?
Just a simple man, put a rowing tie on.
You look good. You look very elegant. I thought, this was the casual night. Look at you.
You're fly fishing.
I am going fly fishing.
All right, mate. You've entered the pantheon of sports movies now, which is great. The Natural, Hoosiers. How do you feel that you've gone down that?
Well, it's fun to do. I mean, I do like sports films, and I like the idea of this one because it's one of those stories that we don't all really know very well. But it's a hugely successful book.
But it's the underdog role. But these guys were really underdogs. It kept going. Like you watch this movie, you're like, no, they're screwed again. Over and over.
Well, it's that's what made it such a great book. Was you just go, well, are we really going to root for all these these kids who it just didn't seem like they could do it.
Right. And I heard that you walked on the set. You had these athletic guys, the 8-man in the boat, and you're going, they're looking good, and you saw them out in the water, and then an hour later you went, oh,
it was a disaster. I mean, they're actors. It's a disaster. But they got together at the very end, just in time.
And that's teamwork. That's what it's all about.
Listen, dude, all you have to do is get 30 seconds of them looking good, and you've got a movie.
Right. I love that. Now, the underdog, of course, a lot of talk about University of Washington, and they're going to watch it maybe before they play.
They got a big game on January 1st against Texas, so that's going to be exciting.
This could be the movie that pumps them up.
Well, I don't know about that, but listen, they've seemed to they're undefeated this year. So that's pretty exciting.
Yep. Now, you've made a water movie before.
Said Batman and Robin. I was in the water. I was underwater.
Well, what about Perfect Storm? This one ends a lot better than Perfect Storm.
Yeah, we don't all die.
Water movies are tough.
Well, they're dumb to do, I mean, anything you do in the water, go out in your swimming pool and walk in it.
No animals, though, which is good in this.
No. Well, one of the actors was, but we don't want to name names.
And, the Hudson River's a lot safer than the North Atlantic Sea, too.
Well, you never know. I mean, had guys land planes in the Hudson, so,
Right. Life's good for you?
How's life for you?
Yeah, for good.
So we haven't seen each other in 10 years. And I have to say, you look younger now than you did.
Okay.
Sure.
What about George Clooney? All the best and great job on making a sports movie.
Check in every 10 years,
Yeah,
will
that's
you?
great. That doesn't sound like a compliment.
Every 10 years. I will tell you something. Now, here's a great example. One of the biggest stars in the world, George Clooney, correct?
Yeah. Yes, correct.
You got these half-assed people that think they're a big deal, and they give you horseshit interviews. This man wouldn't have to do an interview the rest of his life.
I know. It's amazing, Tom, isn't it? There's a real psychology. Yeah,
Yep.
It's and he's picking up everything I'm laying down, and he wants to roll with it. Mate, you just nailed an incredible point on how to be successful in Hollywood. I think, like
I agree.
And even like someone like Tom Cruise cops a lot of flack for his beliefs and what he is, but he'll talk to everyone like Tom Cruise. Yeah, he will be a movie star, and doesn't matter what outlet you're with, he'll have a nice chat with you as well. Someone like Cruise, Clooney, the movie stars, and you get these other people that just fob you off and don't even want to chat and make it difficult. Do
they realize now? Okay, so if everybody out there is a Brad Blanks fan, like I am, and you do a bad interview, just the way this one impressed me, what a nice guy he is through you. I didn't talk to him. You did. You're a friend of mine. I'm happy for you. Therefore, it makes me happy. I really appreciate what he did. And if you do the opposite and treat my friend Brad Blanks like shit, I'm never going to like you again.
It's funny how it works. No, you're exactly right. And of course, and George has muddling political beliefs, and people come after him for being a celebrity and not chatting. But isn't it nice just to put all that beside and know you're talking to a guy that creates great movies, and he's a great actor, and that's what I try to channel in my interviews and say, I'm giving you a platform here to be a good guy or a good lady and have a nice chat, and then I'm going to take you on a cool show of cool people, and hopefully they enjoy it, and we get to have a laugh at a bit of my stupidity and a bit of your jokes, and I love that he nailed it again. I'll see you in another 10 years. Couldn't wait to get away from
10
me.
years, probably.
Mate, that's exactly what I wanted the interview to go. But he was at the beginning when he was teasing me about being elegant. I did put a tie on for him, and I had a jacket, and he did look like he'd just come from fly fishing. He was like the worst dressed guy, I swear, on the whole red carpet. It was bizarre. I was even looking. I actually, and I'm not a shoe guy, Tom. Unless I've become vain as I start losing my hair, I'm maybe looking for other areas to improve on or something. But I did look at his shoes, and I went, "These are really crap black leatherish type shoes." They're like hush puppies or something he just bought down the shop. It was fascinating. I'm like, this is George Clooney. He goes to every awards show and wears the finest suits. And he looks like he's just walked in off the street or out of a riverboat. But anyway, it was wonderful to chat with him.
No, and I agree with Brittany. He's not that good looking, so
No, I would kick him out of bed.
It's weird that even just through hearing his voice, I was like, this guy's really good looking.
I know.
Good looking.
I know.
That's true.
Yeah, he's good.
That is true.
He's a great talker, isn't he? Great chat. And he's got a beautiful missus. He's got a couple of young kids, and he's still best mates with his wacky, quirky friends like Richard. Is it Richard Friend? Richard Friend? The actor from Spin City.
Oh yeah. I think that's. It Richard, sounds. Yeah. It's Richard something. Yeah.
Tom will know it. Tom will know this guy when he sees him. Richard Kind. Richard
That's
Kind.
what it is. Yeah.
Oh, I know Richard Kind. Yeah.
And
Friend, because I got to be honest with you, the name Richard Friend translates to friend of Dick. So Sorry.
Yeah, Dick Friend. So Richard Guest, and the story goes that Clooney, when he made that $330 million on the tequila, when they sold it for $1 billion, and they split it with Cindy Crawford's husband, got the other 330, and another guy got the other. Clooney had a dinner party for his 14 best friends, and they all turned up, and sitting on each seat was a duffel bag filled with $1 million in cash. And Richard Guest was one of that 14, and he's talked about it in interviews. And but my biggest question is, what about I wish I could ask. I should have asked Clooney the other night, but I don't want to bring it up. But it's that. What about the 15th best friend? That guy that misses out. That's in the fantasy football league of 15 teams, or the 16 team, friend team, and those two are the ones that missed out on that $1 million each. But it's a great story that Clooney still gave 14 of his mates $1 million each for off the back of his tequila.
I didn't want to pay taxes on that whole extra $14 million. That's what it was.
Get rid of it. Smart. I love that.
Nobody's ever given me $1 million in cash just for being their friend. It's never happened.
No. All right, Tom. Another quick note. Someone will give you $1 million in cash. When I make it, Tom, at the end of my broadcasting career, if I just make it, I'll drop off a couple of bucks for helping me out.
Here's a million.
I posted Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler to my Instagram this time.
Phenomenal.
And 3 days ago, and it got another 250,000 hits.
I know.
I just put it up. It was like magic. I wish I got $1 a view or something, but at least I got attributed this time, I guess, on my Instagram. So that's good, and I'll be posting a lot of old Ricky Gervais clips in the next few days too. So if anyone wants to see those on my Instagram at Brad Blanks, because Ricky has his comedy show Armageddon coming out on Christmas Day, so December 25th. If you want to sneak away from the family and watch an incredible performance of Ricky Gervais. Tom, you're going to love it. He nails it. Well, he's very similar to you in, and I know you've copped a lot of flack over the years of people saying you're political and this and that, where I have always thought you were just logical more than anything. That's your political.
I've always loved you. I want you to know that.
Yeah. But you're just logical, but you cop a lot of crap. And Gervais has been, the extreme right wing grabbed Gervais and the extreme left wing grabbed Gervais. And he goes, guys and girls, I'm just logical. I'm just stating how it is. And he breaks down wokeness fantastically because he goes, I love him. In 2011, I'd be woke. I'm woke in 2011. It's just in 2023, it's gone crazy that I'm not that. I'm 2011 woke. And it was just, and when you start thinking of it, how it's developed, it's a lot different. That wokeness is different over the last 12 years. And Gervais is just brilliant.
He is. His stand-up is great. His acting is great. His movies are always good. His TV shows. I love that guy. I think he's terrific.
Yeah, you'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy the show. It'll be great.
I will absolutely get that done. Brad, let me just say this. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to you. And it's a joy to be working with you again on another show, man.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, that's fantastic. Fantastic. Got a great crew. AJ, thank you. Tevin, Brittany. What a great year. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas, Tom. Happy New Year. Be back in January. It's going to be great. I love January heading into the Super Bowl. I hope can the Vikings still make the playoffs?
Don't even.
Sorry.
They're going to cut you right out of the show.
Yeah. I got to hear
Brad, you're the best.
All right. See you guys. Bye.
Thanks a lot, Brad. Brad Blanks, ladies and gentlemen.
Bye.
And I'm not making that up, by the way. It is such a joy to work with that man. It's been many, many years that I've worked with him. And, when you make that switch to another show, you wonder, oh, my God. But pretty much everybody came along. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
The only one didn't was what's his face? The guy who used to do the Hollywood Report. What was his name again? Mike?
I love Brad Blanks. He's the highlight. He's always so funny and just the now that I've quit drinking for 3 months and I've gotten violently sexy, that kind of. He's just so funny.
It's unintentionally funny. He's not trying. He's just being himself, and it's a breath of fresh air.
No, I do. I think the world of that guy. Brad Blanks is one of the nicest people in person you'd ever want to meet.
Yep.
When in 2007, just before the economy crashed, we had 5,500 to 6,000 people in the auditorium in Las Vegas. Brad Blanks stood there. Hours and hours saying hello to everybody. He was amazing.
Yep.
He was just an amazing guy. Remember, you were at that show, weren't you?
Yep. And it was, Brad is the same person on air that he is in person. And he's just so wild. He would be like, all right, where are we going on the strip? I'm like, I'm going to bed. He's like, come on, let's go. And he was just so harmless and little kiddish. And he's like, I think I'm going to walk home. And I'm like, we're like a mile away from, no, I got to feel the energy of the streets. Like,
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Me and Bob's answer would be like, well, you are wild for that.
Those days are never coming back, are they? You're not going to be able to take a few thousand people on the road, go to Vegas, go to Key West, and all those things. You can't do that anymore, can you? Because of insurance.
I think you're right.
It's just too expensive to do it now. It used to be back in the day that if you got drunk and got a problem, that's your problem. But now it's if I got drunk and caused a problem, that's somehow your problem because you're the one who brought me here.
Yeah. It would what would happen is if we had that high insurance is that we'd have to pass it on to the person buying the ticket.
Right.
We never want to do that.
No.
So I think what we got to do is just plan something here in Minnesota where we can, meet listeners at some point.
I don't even know if you can do that. It's just the cost of the insurance is sky high.
Yeah.
You know, it's just it's a different time, a different day. You know, we had people like out in Vegas that fell down flights of stairs because they were so drunk. You know, you might get tapped for something like that. Although, how am I responsible for you falling down the stairs when you're drunk?
Yeah. Were you like, you weren't paying for listeners to go out there, were you?
No.
Because you would think, like, what's the difference if you just said, hey, we're doing a live show out in Vegas, and then everybody just happens to come out? It's no different than, you know, a football team playing a game out there, and then their fans get drunk out in the street. Like,
That's true. If you want to go, we'd love to see you. Yeah, that's a great argument, actually. You know, if you want to come out, we'd love to have you. We're not really hosting anything, but if you want to show up and be in the theater, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
There's got to be a way around this because those shows were a ball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were definitely some of the most unique times in my life.
Unique. That's a good way to put it. There was unique.
And like somebody fell down the stairs often at the Golden Nugget because the Gold Diggers was their nightclub, and it was an insane staircase. And everyone, like, you'd fall down the stairs, people would go, "Oh, are you okay?" and live our lives. It wasn't like, now I'm gonna sue everybody.
Right.
Chill.
It wasn't like that. All right, we got to take another break. Be right back in a couple minutes. Continue the show. Of course, next hour, Kristyn Burt will pop up. Looking for that. We'll be right back. A couple of minutes.
This is the Tom Barnard Show. Listen live on the Tom Barnard Show app or at tombernardshow.com.
When you need someone to listen, a lawyer you know and trust, with respect that you deserve.
Hi, I'm Mike Bryant. Over the years at holiday time, Bradshaw and Bryant has been able to help thousands of Minnesotans arrive home safely from the bars. This year, there's still lots of things that we can do to ensure that you stay safe on the roads, like slowing down, giving yourself enough time that you're not in a rush, no texting and driving, hands-free phone calls, and of course, no drinking and driving. Please be safe so that you get home to your loved ones. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. This year, my biggest wish is that we all remain happy, healthy, and even a little more kind to one another.
A lawyer who will fight with confidence and pride, working harder, going farther, with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC has a mutiny on his hands. His sales crew said they've had it brooming snow off the new Buicks and GMCs, then warm them up, move them to plow, and repark them again. He even overheard them cooking up an alternative plan, a sale.
This is crazy. Why don't we just mark them down and sell them?
This is getting real old to be out on that lot in this sub-zero weather.
That's right. Everyone we sell is one less to broom.
I heard we're supposed to get 6 more inches tomorrow.
I'm 5'6". How am I supposed to get the snow off the roof of a pickup?
I'm Jim Paul, and well, car dealers do have all kinds of crazy sales. This idea probably makes more sense than most. There's plenty of inventory, so okay, the crew has decided.
So then it's official. The We Don't Want to Broom Snow sale is in full force at Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings. Snowy inventory priced real right at valleycardealers.com.
Tom here, and I want to discuss a partnership that has been wonderful in my life, Zero Res Carpet Care. Very good friends of mine. Nothing is better to someone with a family than having a completely clean home. Your carpet is the biggest filter in your house. If you want to talk about pet dander or foot traffic, dirt from the outside, they all eventually reside in your carpet. So, Zero Res Carpet Care. Listen, around the holidays, you need to contact ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZEROREZ. That's 952-ZERO-RES. They clean your home with their electrolyzed pH-elevated water that doesn't use chemicals or soaps that smell like a janitor's closet like other cleaning services. How about a Tom Barnard deal? Well, here it is. Get 3 rooms, 0 resified, starting at $129, and don't forget your air ducts. Mention me, and they'll discount your air vents by $75 too. This is for the entire month, so call them right now, 952-0-RES, backward or forwarded, spells the same, or book online, ZeroResMinnesota.com. If it's available, ask for them to come to your place in the Tom Barnard named service truck. What an honor that was, by the way. Just mention me by name and get the special deal to get your home clean and your heart happy. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Hell of a show today, I think. You guys have really stepped up. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I also agree. It's been one hell of a show.
See, what do you think of that action? No question. We are. Oh, Andy's with us now. I never get to say goodbye to AJ anymore. I got to remember when this segment comes up, I got to say goodbye to him because I never get to say goodbye to him anymore.
He is technically in the studio right now still.
I'll tell him goodbye. AJ, Tom says goodbye.
All right, thanks, Tom. Goodbye.
Well, there you go.
Goodbye, AJ.
You guys got
easy as that.
Was he wearing a Ham's beer shirt?
No, that's Officer Dave.
Oh, Officer Dave's in. Okay, because I saw the Ham's beer shirt. I don't know what the hell that was all about. Doesn't that say Ham's beer on it?
Yes, sir.
I thought so. I thought it did. No question about it. There you go. There it is. I thought it said Ham's beer on there. Ham's the beer refreshing. Ham's. You guys probably don't remember that jingle.
I definitely do.
Okay, we got to get some volume on his mic. That'll be good. Andy's got you now?
Try it now.
Is that any better?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect. No question about it. What was the special logo for Ham's? What was the animal they used?
Bear.
It's the bear, yep.
Ham's beer with Ham's bear.
Yeah, he was kind of a skinny bear.
Oh, he was not a skinny bear.
I kind of remember him being like an elongated bear.
He was rather elongated, yes.
An elongated bear. And the other part was, let's see how we get this. Their slogan, Ham's the beer refreshing. I do remember that.
Yes.
They also had, what was the actual first name of Mr. Ham?
Theodore.
Absolutely. Theodore Ham. Boy, you know all this stuff.
My dad delivered beer and he delivered Ham's beer for 20 years, Tom, from 66 to 86.
Boy, that was Minnesota's beer for a long time. Ham's was the beer of Minnesotans.
Yep.
Never had it.
No, yeah, it's still around.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Just DJ'd a wedding where.
Why?
No, we don't have him
the
up.
mic working.
Can you hear me now?
There you go. No, it's
there we
working.
go. That was weird.
Oh, yeah. No, I was saying I just DJ'd a wedding where they exclusively served Ham's beer because
Really?
we all love it. So the only keg we're tapping tonight is Ham's, and everybody went crazy.
You know what? Sometimes lack of options is delightful.
100%.
Like, okay, I want a beer, then that's what we're getting. It's like this Costco of situations where you go, oh, you only have one choice? Okay, I'll get that.
No, that's my son's getting married next week, and that's he's having one kind of beer, and it's not Ham's, but
really
sneak a case in.
Yeah, I might. All the crap I've got it for it not being Ham's. Yeah.
What is the one beer he's having? Do you want to say, or do you just not want to say?
It's Mick Golden Light.
Get back to Ham's. What's his first name?
What's Scott? Scott is his
Scott.
first.
Get the hell out of the house. Go away.
Where is he getting married? Like what city?
Loretto.
And is this your first kiddo that's getting
This
married?
is the first one to get married. Yep.
Congratulations. That's
Yep.
very exciting.
How old is he?
30.
No.
Well, that's
Good age to
prudent.
get married.
It's a good mood. Yeah, 30's a good time to get married. No question about it.
Kind of high
No
five,
question.
Andy. I agree.
Air 5.
Mhm.
God, I was trying to think how old I was when I got married. I think I was like 34. I was 33, about to turn 34. That's what it was. Just about 2 months later, July 7th. And then on November 7th, I turned 34. So there you go.
Yeah, I was 33, turning 34 as well, I believe.
Yep, you were. I think that's exactly right. Hey, those marriages tend to last, so that's good.
Yeah, it's there's like a age divorce rate curve. And yeah, that seems to be, I think, like the best spot is like late 20s, early 30s.
No, I got married at 24.
24 is still better than like 18.
Oh, yeah, the fresh out of high school.
Yeah, those do not tend to last.
Oh, God. I can't even imagine me getting married at 17 years old. Or I was 16 when I got out of high school. So
Oh, God.
getting married at 16 would not have been good for me. I
Let's
can guarantee
see.
it.
If you get married before 18, which apparently you can do,
Mhm.
50% divorced within 10 years. But if you get married after 25, it's half that rate.
See?
So there you
Dang.
go.
Most of the guys I was deployed with got married quick right before we deployed.
Oh, that's not a good idea.
And they're on their second or thirds
Yeah.
now. Because I'll always go back to their, they'll write some comment or whatever. And I'm like, God, that wife looks so different. Oh, because it's a different human.
Yeah, getting married right before deployment, I just don't get it?
Well, because you get more money. So
it's a money deal.
yeah, it's kind of like and then they have the mind frame of like if something happens in there, whatever. But our deployment was pretty chill, so it's like calm down. You're not
right. You're also like
band of brothers over here.
What if I have a heart attack while I'm deployed?
Yeah, and so what happens is you're in a certain pay grade, like, and that's your rank. So I was like an E5, so I was a sergeant, and that's my pay rank. But if I have a dependent or 2 or 3 dependents, that pay grade is on the higher end. You just keep adding certain amounts.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. So if like you're a polygamist, you get married like 8 times.
Yeah, you're game on.
Raking it in.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
How many times was that guy married again earlier this week?
38 or something like that.
38. I think 38
Glenn?
times.
Yeah.
Glenn, I've thought about Glenn so many times, and I have that article saved, and it's a really long article. Glenn is an interesting man.
Yes, I thought that was true. I never talked to him. He's dead now, right?
Rest in peace, Glenn.
I believe Glenn died, but there was a picture of him at 54, Officer Dave.
Yeah.
Picture of him at 54. He looked like he was about 84. So getting married all those times wears on you.
It must, because I'm 56 and only went through it once. So there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Me too.
Wait,
only once.
So your 24-year-old marriage didn't last?
No, we just hit number 32 or 32 this year.
Wait, so you had a marriage before that too?
I was married at 24, and I've been married to one little.
Yeah, that's what I thought you said too. Actually, I thought you said you had been married twice.
He's saying he's
I don't know how
going
that.
through one marriage. Like,
Yep.
I
didn't
don't know.
think you guys.
Tevin and I understand each other.
Yeah, it's a wavelength thing, I think.
Yeah.
No question.
One gal, 32 years now.
Wow, that's almost my entire life.
Remember there was one time when the kids, Andy and Alex, saw Catherine and me arguing about something. One time they saw us arguing. Many years later, remember that time you and Mom almost got divorced? I'm like, what?
I don't even believe you, Tom, because I believe that they have seen you argue more than one time.
I believe it's been more than one.
Well, I'm talking about a serious argument
on it, but well, yeah, like big, cataclysmic argument kind of situation.
Right, you're not throwing coffee cups at each other across the kitchen, and
Well, I did duck, but it all worked out in the end. But what the hell? Speaking of being in love and getting married, man sentenced in Tinder love triangle murder torture case. Officer Dave, what the hell is with the torturing now? All of a sudden, torture hit a new high.
I have the world is full of sick individuals.
Yeah, most of them are on Tinder.
You want to torture? Oh my God, this guy looks familiar. Is he in radio?
Tinder love triangle. If I just Google Tinder love triangle, I'm going to get 10 billion news articles.
You sure are.
Keywords. There it is. Perfect.
So basically, years after a Tinder love triangle ended in murder and torture, is it pronounced Placer or Placer County in California?
No idea.
Spelled Placer, but it might be Placer. Might be. Officials on Tuesday said the man responsible was sentenced. Damon Allen Benson, 31, will face 71 years to life in prison. Well, let's see. He's 31, and he's going to do 71 to life.
Yeah, 71 is like more than life, isn't it? For most people, unless you go to prison when you're 2 years old.
Yeah, he'd be 102 at the end of it. So I'm pretty sure that's a death sentence anyway.
He'd be alive.
Or a life sentence, I should say. For the 2021 crimes released from the Placer County District Attorney's Office, read a jury in September found him guilty of murder, torture, mayhem charges. This is a day for justice for the victim and the victim's family. Supervising Deputy District Attorney Jeff Moore said in the release, "We recognize this verdict will not bring the victim back, and we cannot undo what this defendant has done to their family. We are humbled to provide justice for this horrific crime to the greatest extent of our laws. The defendant shows a clear danger to the public and the callous disregard for human life. Removing Benson from society is the only way to ensure he doesn't victimize anyone again." Now, it's kind of weird. I mean, he's not that strikingly handsome guy, but he's handsome enough. What is the guy's mental issue? Why would this guy all of a sudden want to start murdering people?
I don't know, but you should definitely read the next paragraph to this.
All right, we'll get to the next paragraph because he's got kind of a crabby look on his face in the booking photo.
I would imagine. While you're scanning down to the next paragraph, it's neither Placer nor Placer, it's Placer.
Placer County, okay.
Placer
I've heard
County.
of it. So it's Placer County, okay. Placer. Oh, my next word was Placer County District Attorney's Office. All three people met separately on Tinder, causing Benson to become jealous. On August 21st, officials said he held the woman captive against her will in his apartment. He tortured her multiple times, including an incident where he carved a swastika. The woman is Jewish, by the way, so he had to carve a swastika in her, of course, on her back while she was tied. She was tied to his ceiling? What the hell? What?
Oh,
wow. How do you tie someone to your? I mean, I suppose you can do it, but why would you put her on the ceiling?
Well, it probably was like you connect the rope to the ceiling and then it hangs down and she's just like either suspended or her hands are tied above her head type of thing.
Yeah, maybe she was.
There's a number of options here.
She was on her back while she was tied to his ceiling with a rope. Investigators found that he tortured her to get the address of her other lover. Once he found him, Benson shot and killed him. So he's very pissed off, no question about it. But the district attorney's release explains that the surveillance video showed Benson running into the other lover's home in the middle of the night. Gunfire was heard, and Benson was seen running out of the home yelling, "That's right, bitch." Okay. This, among many other factors, led the jury to decide that Benson definitely murdered the victim with premeditation and intent, the release said. So he will be in prison definitely for the rest of his life. He'd be 102 at the end of the 71, and he might get to life anyway.
And I'm pretty sure first degree doesn't have parole.
It does not.
I don't know. California it might.
Well, that's true. It's California. It could be a completely different argument. You're right about that. So he went through all of this killing people and torturing people because she dated another guy.
And this is like a weirdly written thing, but he didn't kill her, correct?
Right. He tortured her to get the address of the guy.
Because then they throw in him just so casually, like, oh, and then they shot and killed him. And I was like, okay, so I was just double checking. He tortured her and killed the other lover.
Guy,
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
So here's the problem I have with that. Do you think the other guy even knew that he was in the picture?
Yeah, you do have to wonder, because if he was an innocent third party, then that makes it even more messed up.
Yeah, I mean, it's just dating. It's not nobody. Yeah, even if these were married people, it's still not worth it. So it's funny to even go, well, they're just dating, whatever. It's like, you know what? And there's nothing. There's nothing to say. This man's insane.
No, he just is flat out insane. He thought he was the only one. And did you ever go through that when you thought you were the only one for the other guy or the other woman?
No. I'm
never
like
did
very
either.
sure that Justin could be happy with half the population.
Well, that's what he
And I
told
heard
me.
what I said.
Not any specific half, just a random half.
A random half the population, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I got to be honest with you. I adore Catherine. I love being married to her. We've been together a lot more than half my life. But if all of a sudden she came to me and said, you know what, I'm sick of your bullshit, and left, I'd go, well, what am I going to do? Right?
I don't believe that.
I don't either.
Not even close.
I mean,
what do you mean I'd be even keel?
There would be a huge mourning period, but I believe that 1,000%, Tom, that eventually you and I would both get to the point of like, all right, like you just have to.
There'd be no torture and murder involved.
Yeah, like I wouldn't want to ruin his life. Even if I found out Justin was sleeping, I would be mad, but I definitely would get over it and would make jokes about it. Probably 12 hours. Well, maybe like 48 hours after I found out.
That's exactly it. That's all you got to know. No question about it. Yeah, to torture the woman and kill the man because you're not together with the woman anymore. That's a pretty big move, if you ask me.
It's quite the swing.
I would just have to think about this, that if you harmed anybody in my family, from the grandkids to the kids to my wife, I would kill you then. That's
And
the only
Margot.
time I'd kill somebody.
And Margot. Can you also add Margot in
And
there?
Margot too. Yes, I would kill somebody over Margot too. You're absolutely
A
right.
reverse life insurance kind of thing.
Thank you.
Can you put her on your policy?
Thank you. That's what I want to hear.
That's just wonderful news right there. But what the hell? Yeah, I just have never understood that. It didn't work out. You might be in love with the woman, all the rest of it. It did not work out. I mean, I've been with a couple of women back in the day. It was many, many years ago now, obviously. But I thought, well, we're probably going to end up together. And then we didn't.
Yeah.
It made me sad for a while, but I got over it. It's like, okay, whatever.
I still remember the breakup I had where I was living with the guy. And I overheard them talking where they're like, hey, watch out. Like, because we'd lived together. And as soon as I found out, as soon as we broke up, I immediately was like, I need to get out of this house, obviously. But like,
Yeah,
it's
sure.
not as simple as grabbing a duffel bag when you have dogs and all the things. So I was like, I remember overhearing him having a conversation. It was like, yeah, you got to put a timeline on so she knows to get out. And I like immediately after that person left, I was like, do you think I want to stay here? Like, do you think I'm going to like, think I'm gonna seep into your subconscious and like he won't know? What do you think? I just remember having that moment in my head. I go, you know me so well. You know that if I could, I would run into a forest right now and never come back.
This isn't a Beetlejuice situation. I'm
No.
not haunting you.
No, I would like, as soon as rejection is hit on me, like if you guys said I always hate you, I'd say I'll never see any of you guys again. What in your body is like, no, I'm gonna make sure you love me. It just it's not there.
You know what's interesting about this? I just thought of this. I don't know if other people have been through this before or not, but when I was at St. Anne's School in North Minneapolis, in 7th and 8th grade, there was a girl there named Ellen Burnick. And I thought she was just stunningly beautiful. She was a very pretty young woman. I mean, we're 12 at the time or whatever age it is. But I remember I always thought Ellen was very pretty, and I never, she and I never, we hung out together, but it was never any talk of dating or anything like that. And then Ellen moved to California, so I hadn't seen her in years. We stayed in touch. I still talk to her a couple of times a year. It's a very sweet person. But I never knew this because she sent me an old picture of she and me. She looks exactly like your mother, Andy. I had no idea. It was really, I guess
have the type.
I must have a type or something because honest to God, those two could be sisters. There's no doubt about that.
There's a lot of instances of that I've seen where people will like, somehow seek out women or men who look like all identical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. But, so sir, if she went with some other guy, maybe there's another one out there kind of like her that you could find. What do you say?
Yeah. Like I bet you that there is less people who would be likely to be successfully married to me than successfully married to Justin. Like he's the kind of personality that I think could do well with a huge chunk of the population. And so I think that's really funny to think about the one. I think there are the ones, plural.
Yeah, probably true. Probably true. What the hell? So yeah, that dating thing, to get that whipped up over one person, I just don't get it.
You just don't know how that's going to work in your favor. Like if you are going,
yep.
you have to love me. And so you think that anything scary is going to make them love you. I mean, anything, even when people are following people or sending 4,000 text messages a day, you just kind of go, do you really think that's the thing that they're going to click and go, you know what? I love when he's trailing me in his car. I love that. I regret breaking up with him. No, that never happens.
No. Well, you do get over it. No matter if you think you're in love and you find out later, well, I guess I really wasn't. You will understand later. Was it her? Was it me? Was it both of us? Whatever. You will come to an understanding of why it didn't work out. There is a reason it didn't work out. So don't get so upset that it didn't work out. Calm down, for Christ's sake. Right?
Yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah, what the hell?
What the hell?
But, Catherine does stand up and go, yeah, how you doing? Good to see you. I got to go. Yeah, I'm hoping that I was hoping she'd be home, but I don't know where the hell she went. She went somewhere, but Jude is hanging out. He's not peeking through the window anymore.
No.
He was peeking through the window. He must be wandering around. But yeah, all of that stuff. I mean, the loss of someone is much more devastating than losing someone you're dating. You're not even married. I suppose I've never been through a breakup and a marriage, so I don't know what that feels like. But that's probably pretty painful, I would
Probably
think.
not good.
I'm sure it's brutal. I'm sure it's absolutely brutal. I'm sure the idea of sharing go-go seems brutal to me. I'm sure people deal with that all the time. But you always hear after a divorce, eventually, when people are in a good place, they say what you said, Tom. They say that was what was supposed to happen. It's just you always hear that, and it's way down the line. And I'm sure if it's fresh, it's brutal. I mean, switching houses, all the things that you have to do in a divorce is just brutal, but you can survive it. And you definitely, any woman, or I mostly talk to women about this, they always say it was the right thing.
Yeah, see, I think that's very smart. That makes a lot of sense. We do have to take a break because we have Kristyn Burt coming up right after this.
This is the Tom Barnard Show. Listen live at tombarnardshow.com or on the Tom Barnard Show app.
Hello, I'm Brad Huckle, President and Chief Lending Officer at North American Banking Company.
And I'm Michael Bilski, CEO at North American Banking Company.
As a locally owned and operated community bank, we work with many multi-generational businesses.
Take personal care dentistry of Roseville, for example. Dr. Walter Hunt, also known as Painless to Me, has been a longtime customer of the bank since we opened the bank in 1998.
When his son Kyle was ready to join the practice, they wanted to expand quickly.
With their additional space and equipment, they now are able to see more patients each day while providing the same level of care and service.
Okay, guys, I'll take it from here. If you run a family business or any kind of business for that matter, you should be banking with Brad and Mike over at North American Banking Company. Every time I deal with them or their team, I know I'm working with experienced professional bankers. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
When you need someone to listen, a lawyer you know and trust, with respect that you deserve.
Hi, I'm Mike Bryant. Over the years at holiday time, Bradshaw and Bryant has been able to help thousands of Minnesotans arrive home safely from the bars. This year, there's still lots of things that we can do to ensure that you stay safe on the roads, like slowing down, giving yourself enough time that you're not in a rush, no texting and driving, hands-free phone calls, and of course, no drinking and driving. Please be safe so that you get home to your loved ones. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. This year, my biggest wish is that we all remain happy, healthy, and even a little more kind to one another.
A lawyer who will fight with confidence and pride, working harder, going farther, with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That is 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did, and tell him his guy, Tom, sent you.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
The Tom Barnard Show is proud to have partners like North American Banking Company, Bradshaw and Bryant, and attorney and advertiser Dave Bielke.
I've been advertising on Tom Barnard shows for years. I like Tom, not just because he's a good guy, but because the ads I run on his show bring me new clients that are hurt at work and need legal help. Tommy B works for me.
If you'd like to find out more about growing your business with the Tom Barnard Show, go to tombarnardshow.com, keyword partner.
I'd like to point out one thing. I'm sorry, Officer Dave, but Kristyn's much more attractive than you are.
That's a given.
I mean, Brittany's here. You got Kristyn. I mean, we're out of the mix.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? All right. Any
and
news?
I will hold up the sign.
Any
How'd it
news
go?
from yesterday?
Are you the new
Oh,
host
yesterday.
of
Okay.
Millionaire?
So the good news, I'll give you the good news first. The good news is that I did everything I possibly could to get the job. I felt really good. I don't have any second guessing. So that is the best place to possibly be, especially where we're about to hit a Hollywood break or a holiday break, I should say, and also a Hollywood break. But that means I won't hear anything until after the new year, which means I have to keep not only myself in suspense, but all of you, because I can't talk about it. But they are going to let me know first if I move on to kind of like the final round, and then if I'm in the final round, I just need approval from the network executives and we're good to go. So let's hope that that's in the cards for me for 2024.
Do you know how many people you're kind of up against?
He said that it was a very small group. There is more than one position, so that odds are also in my favor for that at least, which is nice. So hopefully, yeah. I don't know. All I can say is that I felt really great about it. Like all day, even driving back, I was like, that was great. It was really fun. And I showed off the skills that I have. I felt like I let them shine. So
after all this, we're going to find out it was like Wendy's drive-thru, aren't we?
It is. And I'd be so excited for you.
Absolutely.
I would be so excited to be a part of the Wendy's drive-thru. Like serving Frosties and French fries sounds like a dream.
You have to dye your hair red though, which is
and
pretty
little
cute.
pigtails.
Yeah.
Okay, because I adore you and you've been a good friend for 12 years. Do you want Officer Dave and me to talk to this guy?
Yeah, we can go take care of the competition. They won't be pretty no more.
Ain't
A
pretty
little
no
knee
more.
whack, like the knee whack we heard around the world with Tanya Harding.
Yeah,
Nancy
that's
Kerrigan.
right. That's exactly right. So I'm glad you're still in the mix. You got a great shot. Did you say how many other people are up for the position, or can you not talk about that?
I actually don't know because everyone went
okay.
separately. I didn't see anybody else there. I saw one person come out. It was a guy. So I know that they're looking for men and women, and who knows what they're looking for beyond that. You know what I mean? I was like, if I said to Bill, I said, if I don't get hired for this, it has nothing to do with my audition. It just has that they're looking for something else. Like they don't need my type. Because you have to remember, type does come into play for jobs like this too.
But how does that that shouldn't even matter. It's you.
I tried. I did my best. That's all I can say.
Tom and Dave get in the car right after the show.
Everyone's cross-country trip to San Diego. Hey, it's nice.
San Diego. Okay.
Yeah, it was in San Diego. And the weather's not nice. So I would normally say come to sunny California, but we're having like a 5-day stretch of rain.
You know, it's hilarious. The entire southern part of the United States, from California to Florida, the weather sucks. And in Minnesota, it's like, 48 degrees and no snow.
Yep. We have had one snow this year. It's very bizarre. I can only remember one, maybe 2 Christmases. It seems like every 10 years or so, we get a Christmas with no snow.
Isn't that El Nino, though?
Yeah, it's an El Nino thing, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I remember in the 90s, people making a huge deal about El Nino.
Yeah.
There's 2 inches of snow, though, once you get north of, like, Mille Lacs.
Well, sure. I mean, but there's always 2 inches of snow up there. Middle of July.
I was up there on Monday, and it was 5 below zero with it.
Oh, wow.
8-degree air temperature.
It is interesting just how quickly it gets cold if you just drive north for a little while.
Yep.
Got to be honest with you. It was 68 degrees yesterday here. And I saw a woman walking down the street wearing a fur parka.
Yep. You see that in Florida.
And in California.
Gets into the 60s.
She's like,
yep.
Oh, God.
I know.
Tom, I got to tell you, 65 and the heat goes on here. I call California cold because if it is 65 and I'm in Minnesota, I will be wearing a light jacket and short sleeves. But in California, it is your winter coat, your Uggs, and the heat goes on.
That is amazing. I mean, that's honest God, unbelievable, but it is what it is. So what's going on in Hollywood?
All right. I'm excited to hear everyone's thoughts on this because Variety put out their top 100 best TV shows of all time. Now, we'll be here all week, but I think let's just do the top 10 because I'm interested to hear what everyone has to say. So number 10 is Roots.
Nah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good.
Not a strong response for that one.
Okay, but has everyone seen Roots? And does everyone know the history of this made-for-television movie that literally Officer Dave knows? He's like, I got this. Everybody went to their TV and watched this multi-part series.
That was like the first miniseries, wasn't it?
I think so. And it was a huge television event.
But wasn't Marlon Brando in it as a bad guy, if I remember correctly?
I do. Let's see. I'm just trying. LeVar Burton, of course. This was like his first big role. Yep. John Amos was in it. Based on Alex Haley's novel too. I had to read it for school. Did anyone else have to read Roots for school?
No, I don't think so.
don't know.
Is that required reading, Tevin?
No.
Okay. No. Just
there you
Not
go.
Osceola, Wisconsin.
You know what's crazy? Robert Reed, Mr. Brady was in it.
Really?
I don't remember that.
No, I don't either.
Louis
I
Gossett
do not
Jr.'s in it. Ben Vereen. I mean, like a lot of big names. Lauren Green was in it. Lloyd Bridges.
Really?
Ed Asner.
I like
Vic Morrow was in this. Leslie
Love the
Uggams.
cast.
This might be worth a rewatch, honestly, in 2023. I'd be curious.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
No question. It was a good show. It was a good show.
And I think a lot of a bigger reason that it also made to the top 10, they said it was the power of television with that and
Yeah.
bringing to light a very horrific story in our history. So, all right, number 9. Oh, wait, that's number 11. Hold on. Number 9, The Mary Tyler Moore Show, a very Minnesota thing.
Loved it. Absolutely loved that show.
No one disagrees on that one as number 9?
No, that's
I'm
all right.
a little young for it.
You can't use the young excuse because
I
everything
love
is
that.
available on TV. I always go, that's
That
not
is
an
true.
excuse because everything is available to you.
Full disclosure, I've watched maybe clips of it, but I never was that into it.
I just had a I don't know, age shock situation before we left. So when Ethan's on the potty, he wants to watch TV. And that's the only way he'll go. So that's his 10 minutes of TV time, when he's sitting on the potty. And he wanted to watch Scooby-Doo, specifically the old Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? So we pull up Boomerang, which Boomerang was a project launched by Cartoon Network in 2000-ish maybe.
Mhm.
And it had all these super old, El Kabong kind of situation.
Ooh, El Kabong.
Cartoon.
Quick Draw McGraw.
Yeah, exactly. Quick Draw McGraw, that sort
Mhm.
of thing. Wacky races. So Boomerang is where all the very old cartoons go. And she pulls up Boomerang, and there is Codename Kids Next Door, which is a show that came out when I was 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, this is the old person, blast from the past channel. And here's something that came out when I was a teenager. Doesn't feel great.
That you're an old person now?
Apparently, everything that I grew up with is now vintage and retro.
Yeah. Well, I think
that's
is
worse.
it 25 years that hits vintage? I feel like it's right
I think
around
it's
there.
something like that. It's just
Yeah. So if
crazy
you're
to
over
think.
25, you are all vintage.
It's crazy to think.
I'm very vintage.
So far, both shows really good. You're
Okay,
doing well
number
so
8.
far.
Seinfeld.
Dad hates Seinfeld. I don't mind it.
I don't hate Seinfeld. I just didn't think Jerry Seinfeld was funny at all. Everybody else in the show was, but not him.
He's not the draw.
No,
It
he's
was
not. No.
definitely a water cooler show for sure.
Yeah.
The
Yep.
finale was terrible. I mean,
Terrible.
that is
Yeah,
something
everyone
to
hated it.
argue about.
Terrible.
Yeah, and Seinfeld was never an actor. He was literally just playing himself.
Right.
And it probably was everyone else, Jason Alexander and Michael Richards and Julia Louis-Dreyfus that made the show.
Yeah, it was those three were the show. They defined
Yeah.
it. And Newman was a good character, but he wasn't on every episode.
Newman.
Yeah, and Costanza's parents, they were good.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there were a lot
Oh,
of good.
God,
They were good supporting characters. They support. You know what? That's what makes it brilliant because in the way that they chose to support Seinfeld's lack of acting, they supported him with really great, strong players.
I agree. Yeah, good show. Yep.
Number 7, The Wire.
Love The Wire. That show, I still watch that show. I went back to watching it this year.
Yeah, season
Great
Wire.
show.
Yeah, season 1 of The Wire is no notes. It's just good.
Yep.
And I would argue that some people might think it should be higher up on this list. In terms of like top 5,
Yep.
maybe, because I think
Yep.
people really think The Wire is one of the best shows ever. Number 6, and I would debate this one, but I also realized it was a cultural touchstone. Sex in the City.
Bleh.
Never watched it.
Yeah, I mean, it was the first of its kind. I think it was something that the way it was done and everything was so honestly lifestyle porn that it had such a draw. I mean, there was nothing else like it, and it definitely.
But
it
it
was
has
an obsession among a certain demographic that's usually
Yeah.
not advertised to.
It has a very, very narrow demographic,
Yeah.
I will say.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But it also doesn't hold, a lot of the storylines don't hold up well if you look at them from a 2023 lens. I think that's probably another discussion that's kind of been had even during when in Just Like That, their sort of sequel that came out, and they kind of went so far because they were like, we heard the points of like how we weren't, multicultural enough being in New York City and everything else. And then they swung way too far to wokeness that I think, that became a discussion when the revival came up. So number 5, Breaking Bad.
Solid. I like it.
Sure, why not?
No one sounds really excited by that.
I watched 2 episodes.
Dan and I watched like a season and a half.
That's what I did.
We both liked it, but then we just stopped watching it.
Yeah.
We were just like, I don't know. I guess we're done. I don't know.
You can't binge it. That's the problem. Binging it, because it's one of those things where you go, it feels like you just got out of this situation and now you're in another one. It has to be watched spread out because it's also very dark and sad. So it's like if you binge it all of a sudden, you're like, am I depressed? Maybe.
And the reason they put it in this position, they said because of its cinematic visual style, the cunning, corkscrewed tonal shifts of the writing, the collision of workday domesticity with unsparing criminal violence, so the darkness that you're just talking about, the murderer's row of supporting characters as well, and then, of course, the main cast with Bryan Cranston, Aaron Paul, and Anna Gunn. Just so you know where it was behind that.
Yep, I did like the cast. I watched a couple episodes. It was just not for me.
Number 4 is an animated show. I think everyone should know what it is.
Mickey Mouse.
The Simpsons.
It's got
The Simpsons. I love The Simpsons.
Yeah.
To this day, I love The Simpsons. Andy?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I haven't watched The Simpsons in quite a while. Almost 10 years maybe now. But I don't know. We just don't watch a lot of new TV. In fact, we don't watch any new TV.
Then you should be watching the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
That is not
great show. Great show.
It is a great show.
It is the longest scripted primetime series ever.
Yep.
They call it an institution, and it's got 35 seasons and more than 750 episodes. So
The Simpsons have 35 seasons.
Yep.
God.
all right, I am
love that
so
show.
curious about this top 3 because this is going to be interesting. Number 3. I don't think any of these are surprising that they're in the top 3. It's just the order maybe that people might debate. The
Okay.
Sopranos.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved that show.
Yeah.
Never seen it in my life.
It's good.
Oh, you got a show to watch.
Yeah.
I don't think it.
Do we though?
It is. It's good. I watched it probably 5 years ago or 6 years ago. I think it holds up in the way that it's dramatic. There's a lot going on, like a niche situation with the juxtaposition of family life and crime. I mean, it's great.
Well, I mean, I'll concede that it seems it's well written, well casted, well made. It's just not for me.
Yeah.
I also like the debate on the finale. I won't spoil it in case you guys do watch it, but I do love that that's a point of discussion too.
Terrible ending.
Okay, we got one vote there.
I love that show, and I watched it. Matter of fact, I just watched the entire series again earlier this year. I watched it all over again from the beginning. And when I got to that final episode, I said, oh my God, this crap was terrible.
Are you ready for number 2?
I am.
Mad Men.
I knew Mad Men was going to be on there.
I love that show. I hate the
show.
last season.
I was just going to say it. It was one of the most enthralling shows I've ever watched because I had no idea that the world was like that in that time period for advertising, which was like so fun to watch. But I remember, I can't remember if I finished it, and that's not a good sign.
I just had the same thought. I was like, did I ever finish?
Yeah.
Where he goes to California, and I don't want to spoil too much. I mean, it's been out there for a while, but and he writes the Coca-Cola jingle. I'd like to teach the world.
Yep.
to sing.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was so like he becomes enlightened. He becomes the opposite of what Don Draper was during the 60s. He becomes enlightened in the 70s. But it was such a quick 180. I was so frustrated with it. And I understand that, you got to wrap things up, but it was too far of a reach, I thought, with season 7, where I thought all of everything that they had set up for the prior 6 seasons led me to major disappointment, where I feel like The Sopranos, it's one episode, and I kind of enjoy the debate with the series finale. I almost would flip those.
Mm-hmm. I could see that. No, it's a good show. It was a good show.
And number 1, which is very big in our household because I live with my own Ricky Ricardo, it is I Love Lucy.
Yeah.
Well, it changed the world forever. That show, because of television, It did. It changed the world.
Yeah. I mean, it was such, I mean, when you watch any of the like shows that are about that and you see the impact and how the whole world, I mean, if you had a TV, you were watching that. And there's nothing like that that's ever existed.
There was nothing else on. There was 4 TV
Yeah, that
shows.
literally there was nothing else.
So like
there were only 3.
It was
Kevin. There were only 3 at the time.
And
Fox
to the
didn't
point-
even exist.
Even the way that they ran the show was copied for, you know, to this day. Shows are still ran like that. The whatever. It made a huge impact.
I will say one thing though. I am disappointed that the Honeymooners is not even on that list.
Well, in the top 10, it could be in the top 100. We have to go.
There's definitely a lot of like glaring like things that should be like. I would argue Friends should be in the top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys aren't gonna like me, but I feel like Game of Thrones should be in there.
I'm surprised that wasn't in there too. I don't like it, but like everyone on Earth did except for me.
Friends
so.
doesn't even make it. Game of Thrones is number 21.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like scanning these really fast. I mean, like, because remember, they're going like Oprah Winfrey Show makes the top 20, Sesame Street. So we're reaching further than scripted television.
Yeah.
And Sesame Street also was kind of a game changer the way that I Love Lucy. Friends is number 29.
Oh, there you go. Top 50.
I would kind of, I mean, I think maybe I would have put it in the higher, like maybe 19, 18, 19. Even though it was a cultural touch point, I feel like Sex in the City, it doesn't also hold up as well either.
Yeah.
Like Survivor number 31.
Oh yeah, Survivor. That was a big. What about that Lost? Lost was like a
Lost was huge. I never really liked it.
Look at The Office is number 39.
What is The Office?
The Office is 39.
The Office should be really high too.
Is Mr. Robot in the top 100? I just started watching it, and I'm through an episode and a half, and it is the best show of all time.
Okay, good
for
luck.
1.5 episodes.
Good luck.
I mean, Johnny Carson's probably rolling in his grave that he's number 52 right now.
I was just going to ask where the Tonight Show ended up.
I mean, he's 2 away from the Gilmore Girls.
Oh God.
I love the Gilmore Girls. Sorry,
too.
but it's, you know, but 54 and like, I don't know. I feel like Johnny Carson's more relevant than the Gilmore Girls, even though I'm a huge Gilmore Girls stan. I haven't hit the Honeymooners yet. I'm scanning. The Jeffersons are number 64. Bob Newhart shows 66.
What about Car 54? Where are you?
Yeah,
I've not seen that on the list. And remember, this was created by a group of reporters, and they said they had a lot of heavy debates about this and arguments. So I understand, because even just with the group of us, we're like, well, what about this? What about this? It seems like Muppet Show's number 79. Geez, Scandal 80.
Muppet Show.
Oh my God. How is the Honeymooners not on this list? Happy Days is 87. General Hospital 88.
Uh-oh. Getting almost
Cosby at 90.
Honeymooners
Oh, no.
changed television forever. How could it not be in the top 10 for God's sake?
Seven. Top Chef beat out the Honeymooners.
Oh God.
Unless I missed it, the Honeymooners is not on this list.
Like I would put like the Osbournes in a certain category
Oh
too.
yeah. Oh yeah.
They paved the way for the Kardashians.
Yeah, it's like, what is it? Is it like, do you get points for, you know, like cultural influence?
Right.
Because if so, then there's a
Yeah.
lot of shows that are not good that should be very high.
Yeah,
because,
like Law and Order's always on, and there's a reason it's
Exactly.
always on. You can
Yeah.
always watch Law and Order. Like
SVU is on this list.
no, Honeymooners
somewhere.
is not in the top 100.
The Honeymooners, one of the greatest shows ever on television, changed television forever. It gets nothing.
Now I'm going to sit there and say, I taking a look at the list of the reporters, they're probably all between their like 30s and 50s. This
Well,
is the need for diverse voices. You need people from every generation on the panel
You're
to
right,
decide
you
this.
do. You absolutely do, because it's what I like. It's no, it's not what you like. It's what was great. But they did throw I Love Lucy on there, and they certainly should have. But the Honeymooners should have been right behind it.
Yeah, or at least in the top 10. We'll give that.
The Twilight Zone is
Absolutely.
number 14. The original.
Love Twilight Zone. I did love that show. There's no question about it. Now I'm going to be pissed off the rest of the day. Way to go, Kristyn. I'll
Oh,
be angry.
congratulations. Happy Grumpy
angry the
Merry
rest of the day.
Christmas.
Now he's not coming out to California to eliminate
You
your
don't want to come out today. It's miserable and wet. We don't know how to
Yes.
drive in the rain, and you know, the sight of water just panics all of us. So
19 is something I've never even heard of. Playhouse 90.
Oh, it's very old.
I can see that, but it's
Very
just
old.
surprising. I've never even heard of it.
I think I was a teenager when that was out.
Let's see. 55 to 60.
There you go.
So not even.
I wasn't. I was a little baby.
You were 9 years old when it went off the air. So.
Yeah, but I do remember it, Playhouse 90. I remember I was fascinated with television, as a matter of fact. I thought it was wonderful. Of course, televisions when I was a little boy were the size of a bedroom. But other than that,
yeah, they sure were.
Televisions were gigantic back then.
And built into furniture. Like there was that era.
Yep, absolutely.
Our TV sat like about 6 inches off the floor, and my dad would always lay down on the floor to watch TV.
Really?
He was like, straight ahead. It wasn't like it's up on a shelf nowadays.
No, hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Yep.
I wonder how many of all the listeners to this show, how many people call and go, "Why is this not on the list?" Because we're probably not even thinking about a lot of things that should be. Alfred Hitchcock, how was that not on the list? Alfred Hitchcock show was fantastic, but see, that's long before that era you're talking about with those people.
Yeah, because I know a majority of the reporters that were on this panel. So I'm like, I think we need some older and some younger voices.
Yeah, probably. So what is the best show on TV right now, do you think?
Ooh.
Everybody
Always
think about
debatable. I know. I mean, it's hard because you're saying things because everything just kind of now exists on streaming. So
yeah,
I was going to say, I don't even know what like currently is on the television.
Me either.
Because it's
all you have to do is say anything written by Taylor Sheridan, because he writes about half the shows that are on
Right.
TV.
My mom is staying with us, and last night I watched The Voice with her, and I haven't watched live TV in a long time, and it kind of was a throwback feeling because we all were forced to watch it, and it was kind of fun. But
can I actually? I'm glad you brought this up, Britt, because there's a fascinating thing that happened with this particular TV season. Obviously, there was less things to watch because of the strikes, but shows like Dancing with the Stars and Survivor have been discovered by the Alpha Gen and Gen Z, and they have seen a huge rating spike this year, and it is directly correlated with younger viewers watching live TV.
Well, and they're really good at cutting up pieces and throwing it on TikTok because I don't watch Survivor at all, but my algorithm's like, no, you're going to like this scene. And I go, whoa, maybe I should watch Survivor. And then I go, oh, there's too many seasons. I can't catch up with that. I'm fine. But like I could see how they've marketed to the younger generation.
Well, and like I don't have YouTube on my phone or anything, but Fawn will ask to like watch magic or watch contortionists. And I Google it and like it's all America's Got Talent.
Oh, yeah.
On YouTube, like magicians and contortionists. It's like the first thing that comes up. So we end up watching a lot of America's Got Talent, like for 5 minutes here and there because she wants to watch these things. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that they hosted like Scary Spice was a host of America's Got Talent or whatever.
You know, and it makes me think that there is, if they can find the right, like, 2020s type of formula, that the variety show is ripe for the picking if they want to sort of reinvent it.
Oh, totally.
And do like all of those like Sonny and Cher type of shows from the 70s and bring it back to now. But you've got to do it in a really smart way.
I would imagine. I'm thinking of all these new shows that they were too young to have known, therefore they didn't make the list. There are all kinds of them.
There's and you know, remember we just hit like a peak era of TV. We just like the last 10 years have been really sweet too. I mean, Schitt's Creek is probably at the top of my list for like newer shows that I thought were great from the beginning to end. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel I thought was great from they had one season in there that was a little mixed, but I thought the way that they started and the way that they ended held true to the story. I can't say that about a lot of shows these days where you're like, oh, that was just the perfect ending. Schitt's Creek had the perfect ending.
Another example, the Ed Sullivan Show should definitely be on that list. He brought us the Beatles, the Rolling Stones. I mean, you go down the list of the people that he exposed to America. That show was brilliant, but it's too old.
The fact that Johnny Carson is middle of the pack gives you an idea of this list.
I know. It's like, okay, you're a little younger, are you? No question about it. That'd be so funny. Get a bunch of teenagers, the top 20 shows on television. That list would be a little different.
I'd love to know that. It would be so interesting. And to see what networks that they're primarily watching, because it's going to be things that are accessible via their phone, not necessarily the television,
Right.
or their laptop or their tablet. It'd just be very different.
All right, I'm going to go cry now because none of my shows were on the list. But other than that, I'll get over it. All right, Kristyn Burt, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Only 2 more days before the Christmas holidays.
Until
So there you go.
2024. It's kind of
Mhm.
crazy.
I know, it's really crazy. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Merry Christmas, Kristyn.
Merry Karisa Misa. So we'll be right back in just a couple of minutes. A very, very special guest, for me at least, hopefully for you guys, is coming up right after this.
This is the Tom Barnard Show.
Guys, if you want to reignite your intimacy once and for all, listen, just give Twin Cities Premier Health a call for a discreet and confidential in-office evaluation by their highly trained staff of medical professionals. Acoustic wave therapy sessions are 25 to 30-minute treatments with no pain, no downtime afterward. And right now, Twin Cities Premier Health is offering a free treatment and a free consultation when you book today. Receive this $800 value when you use code word TOM at TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. You may know that age-related erectile dysfunction is most commonly caused by a buildup of plaque in the arteries that supply blood to the erectile tissue. Acoustic wave therapy can rescue your relationship and has been clinically proven to break up plaque. Definitely take advantage of this limited time special offer. Receive a free treatment and a free consultation when you book today. This is a savings of $800 when you use code word TOM at TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. Be sure to use promo code TOM so we get credit for sending you. I wouldn't recommend a service like this unless I knew they could help you. TwinCitiesPremierHealth.com. You know the song Kokomo? It's supposed to be off the Florida Keys, right? Hate to break your Beach Boys bubble, but that's a fictitious place they made up for the song. Fortunately for the rest of us, the Florida Keys island chain are as real as the taxes you have to pay in Minnesota if you're a resident. Now that's a reason to move south. In addition to Florida and all of Monroe County being beautiful, the Keys from Key Largo to Key West are even more beautiful. This is Tom Barnard, part-time Florida resident myself. And if you want a second house or a new retirement home or want to become a Floridian, may I suggest you contact Matt Carson, One Key West Realty. Matt grew up in Litchfield. He's a super real estate agent when it comes to finding your tropical island space in the Keys. He lives there and here, and Matt knows what's best in Key West to buy for your second home in Florida. Matt teamed up with fellow Minnesotan from Sartell and Alexandria, Kristyn Eklund, who's one of the top mortgage brokers in the country from Coast to Coast Mortgage. She'll get you the financing you need to buy a home in Florida or in Minnesota. Matt's part of the Lake Sotheby's International Realty Group here in Minnesota, and Kristyn, his mortgage colleague, lives and works in the Keys, so they both know the Florida Keys' new and existing homes for sale and are Minnesotan through and through. Contact them by heading to onekeywest.com. That's onekeywest.com. Before you head back to one of the big box stores for your hunting and shooting needs this season, do yourself a favor and visit my choice, K&L Surplus and Ammo in Lino Lakes. Not only does K&L have one of the widest selections of firearms and ammo in the Twin Cities, they also do business the right way. They want to make sure that you have the right firearm and the right ammo for your needs. Jim, the owner, has over 25 years of experience in the business and will help you find what you need at a fair price. Speaking of prices, a lot of stores are using inflation and supply shortages as an excuse to raise prices on ammunition. Not K&L. Jim's doing everything to hold the line on pricing so you can spend more time on the range. Find out for yourself why K&L Surplus and Ammo has been the choice of gun owners for over 25 years. Go in and chat with Jim in person at the store on Lake Drive in Lino Lakes or online at klgunstore.com. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm looking at a guy. Oh, somebody's taking a phone call.
Whoa.
BJ.
There we go. We're good.
Can you handle this?
This was my alarm to be here, and I was right on time.
A few days ago, Jay Philpott, who used to work, he ran the Love 105. There were 3 different stations involved in that whole deal, but known Jay for a billion years. And he's now run a bunch of stations in Wisconsin. And I got a text message from Jay. He said, "You got to hear this. This is pretty amazing." So there's this guy named BJ Shea, might have been at KISW, which was one of the highest rated radio stations in America, correct?
Yes, I'll take that.
He goes, yes. Andy, do you have the audio?
I don't know if I can
Because I have it on my phone, but that probably wouldn't be the best audio either, would it?
I don't know if I can play it because we don't really technically have permission from the station.
Oh,
really?
I don't know if I want to do that without talking to them first about it.
Why would they even stick their nose in it? Typical management. That's all I've got to say. Well, who owned the station?
Odyssey. And I'll just say this: Odyssey is a company. It was a company founded by lawyers.
Right.
Well, then.
Now the son of a lawyer, who's also a lawyer, right? Is taking over.
It is an interesting company to have worked for. I'll just say that.
It does work that way. As a matter of fact, when I got fired at KQRS, all these other stations called me, and you remember the name Sid Hartman. Sid was a legendary sportscaster in Minneapolis, and his son and I are really good friends. And he called me and said, "Oh man, you should come work over here. Odyssey owns the station. You would love it, all the rest of it." And as soon as they asked the young man who is now the owner of the company, he said, "No, my politics don't mesh with his." It's like, what? Why is everything so political now, BJ? I just don't get it.
Tom, I'm with you. It's like I thought we were trying to make money. I don't care what you think, as long as the green is rolling in and you don't come to my house. Exactly. What do I care?
No, it's true. Absolutely true. But anyway, so I get this audio sent to me, and you're probably right. Since it's owned by lawyers, we probably can't play the audio. I wish we could, because I was absolutely shocked. What year was it? How long ago was it we had dinner at Bar La Grassa?
Oh my gosh, it might have been 5 to 7 years ago, Tom.
5 to 7 years ago. So BJ and I are having dinner. A couple other people were at the dinner as well. And I love the fact that BJ said, and I could tell at first Tom wasn't all that interesting because he doesn't like talking to radio people, which I thought was very funny. But then something happened, and I'll turn it over to you, BJ. You said something to me that changed the conversation forever, and I'd like to hear your take on it.
It was. I was pestering a mutual friend, Lori Lewis, and your company was having a big party. I just was at your restaurant because I heard you had a great restaurant. And I said, first of all, boy, this guy has accomplished more than I have. I don't have a restaurant. And what a terrific restaurant it was. And then Lori was there because she saw me, came out of the party. I said, Lori, look, I'm a big fanboy, but is there a way I could just shake hands with Tom, say hi? And she said, I'll see what I can do. And you did come out, like I said, you came out, you were cordial, but I've seen this look on a person's face before. They're like, God, another radio person who's just going to be a radio. Do I need this in my life? And I saw that, and I said, I better lead with the one thing that we have in common, which is that I work with both of I worked with both of my kids, and I knew you did too. Mm-hmm. And I just saw your face, like it went from, kid, I got things to do, to, oh my God, I want to talk to you about this because it was one of the shining moments of your life. You said to me, you said, BJ, oh my God, it's the best thing that's happened in my career. I can't tell you how much I love working with my kids. And that's how we bonded.
So you can see everybody's on the show with you right now. Can you see all the other people?
This is insane, your setup. I mean, are these all your kids?
No, the one in the middle is my daughter, Alex. Yeah, there you go. Just Tevin. That's right. My daughter, Alex, is right in the middle. And
hi, Alex.
The upper right, he's in the upper right of my deal, is the engineer for the show, my son, Andy.
Hey, Andy.
My wife is usually here, but she's apparently too busy Christmasing it up. Tevin is he's not really my adopted son. What would you describe yourself as?
We call it adopted son. I don't think there's really a better word for it.
So, I was so impressed that a guy of your stature, because you kicked ass in how many years in Seattle?
17 years, 24 total, but 17 years at KISW, which is basically the KQRS of Seattle.
Yeah, exactly. But to hear something like that because most radio people wouldn't do what you did. I think
Tom, it had an impact, and I really love that. It was a genuine conversation that we had about something that I haven't been able to share with anybody else. Where we love what we do, and the fact that our kids would say, "Yeah, we'll do this with you," and then you're like, "Oh my God, I get to." It was just a really wonderful moment that stuck in my mind, and yeah.
It was just such a nice thing to do. Why is it? So it had that much impact on you. It was one of the last things you ever talked about on KISW.
Well, I really wanted, like you, Tom, it was, my leaving the station wasn't my choice. And
oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna say this, Tom, not to brag, just because this is a weird occurrence. But we have a competitive market, and so the Rays were going a little up and down. I mean, not too horrible, but we had been on the upswing, and so we were number 3, number 2, and then this month it was like, holy cow, we're number 1 in that 25-54 adult category. So the general manager says he wants to see me, and I'm like, well, this is fantastic. He's going to congratulate me. Maybe we're going to go out to coffee, and I can't believe the surreal nature. As I walk in, he looks at me and he says, "Your services are no longer needed. When your contract is up, get out."
Oh, God.
And I'm looking at him like, "Is this a joke? Am I being punked?" And so it 17 years of a great time, and it's just corporate stuff, Tom. I mean, the local team is great, but the corporate stuff is tough. The companies are trying to be Wall Street companies, and when they don't do that right, us local people suffer.
There's no question. Same thing happened to me. 37 years doing that morning show, and all of a sudden one day I get a call from Atlanta. Said, "Tom, we got to wrap this up. This is just not working." I said, "What are you talking about?" The station was the number 1 rated morning show in the country for years. These new people come along, bring some other assholes with them. And I've never been, and BJ, you pointed this out in the audio as well. I've never been real tolerant of assholes in radio. That is true. But look what happened to you. Look what happened to me. How could that ever happen to BJ Shea and me? How?
Tom, when I heard about what happened to you, and of course, everybody likes to position however they want to position. I was asked if I wanted to do a retirement, a goodbye show, and I said, no, I don't take pride in pretending that what happened didn't happen. I'm a truth speaker. I want everybody to know that you guys are not really good at your jobs, but I'm good at my job.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah. The guy who's running our company, it's unbelievable to me. They come tell me, just like they told you, you're at the top of your game. The numbers say so. The metrics that they measure me by say I'm number 1. The metrics they measure a CEO by are the stock price. And my company's stock price is lower than saran wrap on a sidewalk, and he still has a job.
That's true. It's WCCO, a legendary radio station in this town, is owned by Odyssey. And I don't even know if they show up anymore. It's just, maybe it's not the people on the air. Maybe it's the company. They ever think of that?
Well, I do a lot.
So what are you going to do now, BJ?
I was really fortunate. Danny Bonaducci retired. He retired just recently. So, and my agent had been working ever since I knew in July. My agent has been running around telling all the major companies. So I think they knew that Danny was going to retire, but they weren't sure. And my agent is Danny's agent, and so all the stars aligned where I was available. In Washington, non-competes are unenforceable. So I can really just go from one job to another, no matter what the contract says. And so when does that happen, Tom? When do you lose a job and go to another job without skipping a beat? I'm very fortunate.
Yeah, that is amazing. The family and I have been doing a podcast for 12 years now. So it was an easy slide for me. And the Hubbard family is where I started 53 years ago. I started with the Hubbards 53 years ago. So I thought, you know what? I got a few years left in me. Why don't I just end my career where I started it all those years ago? It's kind of cool that you were able to do that, and so was I.
Yeah, and Tom, I talked to the Hubbard family. I mean, I was very, very impressed. Really, really great people over there. So it's I'm really happy you get to do that, because I think they're a good company. I really like them.
Oh yeah, Jenny. I've known Jenny since she was 8 years old. Isn't that amazing?
Oh wow! And you had that conversation. Someday I'm going to be working for you.
Yeah, someday I'll be working for you, and you'll be mean to me. It'll be unbelievable. No, Jenny, I love the Hubbard family. Wonderful people. BJ, you should. So, what's are you going to be on in the morning?
Yeah, the morning show. There's Danny's former partner on the show, co-host Sarah, is a terrific talent. I'm so excited to work with. I've always been. I've always sort of admired her from afar and said, oh man, I would love to work with her someday. But I thought, hey, I'm never going to leave my station, so that's never going to happen. So that's the silver lining.
Well, damn you for making too much money, BJ. That's the problem.
I know. You're right. Why did I think I should do that? Why did I want to take care of my family and build a retirement? I don't know. What was I thinking?
So what are the call letters where you're going?
KZOK 102.5. It's an iHeart station. So that's another bucket list item. I never got to work for them. And, I'm a little vain or whatever, but I like to work for the company that's considered the best company, at least by achievement standards. And so I got to do that. And that's kind of fun. And I have a lot of friends in that company. So, and they advocated, my friend Woody, who does a show in LA, he literally pulled Bob Pittman aside and made him meet me so that they would consider me for the job. I mean, that's the thing, Tom. I really am very thankful to the people who have had an impact on my life. And that's why I remembered you. Just because I knew it's like, he's not going to want to talk to anybody in the business. The man just wants to have a meal, and so I just knew it's like, I've got to find a way to win him over. When you're doing an interview with a celebrity and you don't know, you got to try to win them over in the 5-minute window they give you, which is almost impossible. And but I had so much training because we do that in the career. I go, I think I can get Tom over. If the kid thing doesn't work, then Tom just isn't going to want to talk to me ever again. And,
no, it was such a joy to hear from somebody, especially after just losing my job after 37 years, to just 7, 8, 9 months later, to get a message from someone of your stature, remembering the fact that we met and all the rest of it. That really meant a ton to me, BJ, because most people would never even bother to do what you did.
Well, Tom, you are somebody who I looked up to. It was one of those things where I thought, this is the GOAT. If I can be like this in Seattle, the way you were in Minnesota, which I personally don't think I ever achieved, but that was what I shot for. Well, I appreciate that. But that's why I want to meet this guy, because this is a man who is one of the greatest our business has ever seen. And, and not having, and I know it's tough because a lot of people have ego and want to one up, but I really just want to say, man, first off, I love that our kids are working. Second off, what a great job. And then when I met you, I thought, this is just a regular guy who does what he does. And I really appreciated that, as opposed to, having a blank measuring contest, which is a lot of what happens when you talk to people in radio. It's just,
that's very true.
Can't we just be real people and talk about how lucky we are and not have to one up? I mean, humans are, but so I was happy I got to do that with you.
Well, the timing of it was brilliant, because people right now are the meanest they have ever been.
Yeah.
Nobody's nice to one another. So for somebody like BJ Shea to say what you said on the air, and maybe get permission someday to play it, because I'd love to, for our listeners to hear it. You're a hell of a guy. I think the world of you. And you need to pop on the show once in a while. What the hell? It's a different time slot.
I would love to. I do. I mean, to be able to spend some time working with you. Are you kidding? You tell me anytime, any day. And as long as there's not some science fiction movie I need to watch, I'm there.
See, there you go.
If they come out with a new Star Wars movie, Tom, sorry, I'm going to have to put you to the side. Doctor Who's about to start up, so don't interfere with that schedule on me. But otherwise, yes, I'm there. I am
never
definitely
think
there
that.
for you.
BJ, one hell of a man you are. Thank you so much. It made me feel, because again, I just went through that year of what was this really all about? And then a man of your stature announces on the air saying all these different things that were so sweet and so kind. And the fact that you pointed out that you love your family and I love mine is the most important part of that whole conversation. It's just, do you two understand that? Andy and Alex, do you get it?
No.
Both.
Oh man, I love this. It sounds like it's a very similar dynamic. Tom.
It is.
My daughter still lives with me. I can't even get her out of the house. She won't leave the house, and she's 32. She's married, and she still won't leave. She wants me to leave the house.
Andy has your number, so what I will do is get the number from him, and I'll call you and leave you my number. BJ, let's stay in touch. But thank you, sir. You're a gentleman, and you made my year. Thank you.
Oh, I'm so happy, Tom, and thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. BJ Shea, ladies and gentlemen, KSW in Seattle, legendary radio station. I mean, that station kicked ass when he was on the morning show. And I didn't even know he got fired. I thought he just left to go somewhere else. But turns out he went through the same situation that I did, that these filthy corporations that run things now, money is all that matters. And even if you're bringing in, I made them over $1 billion while I was there. Didn't matter. What have you done for me lately? Well, you destroyed the show, so maybe it's what you did to yourself. You think? Well, they now have, the last I saw, they had about a 2 share. So nice job. Of course, Brittany loves them.
I mean,
so much.
I left before you did, sir. So you literally copied me. I got sober first. You got
copied
sober.
me.
I left. You left. Like, you'll probably wear flannel tomorrow. Okay.
Probably.
Yeah, probably will. I'll follow your lead. White headphones and a flannel coat. That's exactly what I'll do. But no, I cannot tell you how rare it is for somebody in another part of the United States to go on their last day on a show and say, hey, this guy inspired me. I love this guy, and I hope he understands it. That was so, it's something I needed at the time, to hear somebody in the business say, hey, man, you inspired us. That's a wonderful thing to hear.
It's amazing. I mean, I think that's awesome. I think it's funny that he knew that his in with you was to talk about your family, because like that is ingenious. If anybody wants to warm up with you, just say, or one of your grandkids' names. I think that's really cool.
Well, it's the whole thing. My wife, our children, our grandchildren, I adore them. I tell my children that all the time, and they don't believe me, but it's true.
They believe you. They're just like heard it quite a bit.
They're sick of hearing it.
Oh, sorry,
oh God.
I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm sorry.
Would you just punch Alex?
Boy, my cat never says this stuff, so just react.
All right. Well, thank you, Andy, for lining that up. That was a real thrill to have BJ on the show. Just a hell of a nice guy and a supreme talent. Oh, look at you two. Would you two behave? God. All right. We'll be back in a few minutes with the family show right after this.
Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC has a mutiny on his hands. His sales crew said they've had it brooming snow off the new Buicks and GMCs, then warm them up, move them to plow, and repark them again. He even overheard them cooking up an alternative plan, a sale.
This is crazy. Why don't we just mark them down and sell them? This is getting real old to be out on that lot in this sub-zero weather.
That's right. Everyone we sell is one less to broom.
I heard we're supposed to get 6 more inches tomorrow. I'm 5'6". How am I supposed to get the snow off the roof of a pickup?
I'm Jim Paul, and while car dealers do have all kinds of crazy sales, this idea probably makes more sense than most. There's plenty of inventory, so okay, the crew has decided.
So then it's official. The We Don't Want to Broom snow sale is in full force at Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings. Snowy inventory priced real right at valleycardealers.com.
Why should your business bank with North American Banking Company? Here's Landon and Gavin Miller of B&B Plating.
I've always been impressed with their speed of answers to our questions, and that has allowed us to expand and capitalize on opportunities in the market.
North American Banking Company has never made us feel like a number. They've always treated us as a partner.
For more information about North American Banking Company, go to nabanco.com or stop by any one of their Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The Tom Barnard Show is proud to have partners like North American Banking Company, Bradshaw & Bryant, and attorney and advertiser Dave Bielke.
I've been advertising on Tom Barnard shows for years. I like Tom, not just because he's a good guy, but because the ads I run on his show bring me new clients that are hurt at work and need legal help. Tommy B works for me.
If you'd like to find out more about growing your business with the Tom Barnard Show, go to tombarnardshow.com, keyword partner.
You know the song Kokomo? It's supposed to be off the Florida Keys, right? Hate to break your Beach Boys bubble, but that's a fictitious place they made up for the song. Fortunately for the rest of us, the Florida Keys island chain are as real as the taxes you have to pay in Minnesota if you're a resident. Now that's a reason to move south. In addition to Florida and all of Monroe County being beautiful, the Keys from Key Largo to Key West are even more beautiful. This is Tom Barnard, part-time Florida resident myself. And if you want a second house or a new retirement home or want to become a Floridian, may I suggest you contact Matt Carlson from One Key West Realty. Matt grew up in Litchfield. He's a super real estate agent when it comes to finding your tropical island space in the Keys. He lives there and here, and Matt knows what's best in Key West to buy for your second home in Florida. Matt teamed up with fellow Minnesotan from Sartell and Alexandria, Kristyn Eklund, who's one of the top mortgage brokers in the country from Coast to Coast Mortgage. She'll get you the financing you need to buy a home in Florida or in Minnesota. Matt's part of the Lake Sotheby's International Realty Group here in Minnesota, and Kristyn, his mortgage colleague, lives and works in the Keys, so they both know the Florida Keys' new and existing homes for sale and are Minnesotan through and through. Contact them by heading to onekeywest.com. That's onekeywest.com. I'm so happy to welcome back our longtime friend, Sabre Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, to the show. I've known Steve, the owner, for many years, and I completely trust Sabre to keep my house comfortable. Why? Sabre does everything the right way, and they always put the customer first. I love the team at Sabre because their service experts are experienced NATE certified technicians, not salespeople. Their pricing is completely upfront, and they fix only what needs to be fixed, nothing more. Sabre is dedicated to giving customers what they need, when they need it, at the fair price, keeping your family safe and comfortable without breaking the bank. Give Sabre Heating and Air Conditioning a try. I know they'll take care of you just like they've taken care of me and my family. Whether you need a new Bryant furnace or air conditioner replaced, or just simply need a service call to get you going again, go to saberheating.com. That's SABRE heating.com. Sabre and Bryant, whatever it takes. Welcome to the family with
Alex Bernard Rasmussen,
Ted Officer Dave,
and Andy Bernard.
See, look at that. We're loaded for bear. We're stacked high.
Sure are.
So what does that feel like, knowing that a guy from Seattle called in, and the reason he and I became friends is because his kids and the two of you? What do you think of that?
And we've never even met him.
Yeah.
We've never even met him.
Friends by proxy.
Yeah. Friendship by proxy.
No. It's that we both love our children, love working with our children. And, we're just really good fathers. That's what it's all about.
There you go.
Well, you had me up until the end there.
Yeah.
Up until the end there. No, it was very good. And thank you again to Jay Philpott for even telling me about it, because I would have never known about it unless somebody... Isn't that funny that somebody outside of the city had to let me know that this was out there? I thought I had tons of friends in radio. Where did they go? What the hell? It all works out in the end. I don't understand that, though, because KISW has been kicking ass for you. Well, just like KQRS. And all of a sudden they decide to get rid of the guy who's running the show. It makes no sense in either my case or his. Is that basically just, big business? It's big business, just how it is.
I think a lot of them are seeing the writing on the wall, and they're downsizing.
They're downsizing because the radio's got only a few years left.
Yeah, I think so.
Why don't they build a big podcast network instead of just destroying everything they touch?
Well, because there's still going to be people whose primary method of listening to stuff is the radio.
You think so?
I think for at least another several decades, because there's people who grew up with, the morning drive crowd. They drive to work, they turn on the radio. That's what they've been doing for 30 years. And they're not just going to stop.
Yeah.
When they retire, I suppose they'll stop because they'll stop doing morning drive. But it's easier for most people to just hit the FM button and have the radio turn on rather than downloading a podcast and getting it set up through, your Bluetooth and hitting play when you get in the car. And sometimes the Bluetooth doesn't work so great. The technology in cars, like Melissa's car, is a little bit of a pain because it's got Bluetooth and it works fine most of the time. But then there's my car, which you plug a USB cable into it and it does the Android Auto thing and it just kind of works. But that's I think any car older than maybe 3 years, you probably can't rely on that being a feature, or even most cars today. I don't know what percentage of cars today have something like Android Auto. But
Android Auto and Apple CarPlay came standard in 2019.
But so they're in pretty much every car?
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, yeah, there you go. So 4 years. But before that, you can't rely on it, and you got to rely on Bluetooth.
Yeah.
I've been hating Bluetooth for about 25 years.
How difficult is it
I know.
in a car? Like, I mean, think about Alexa. If you whisper Alexa,
No, that's insane.
you like Fawn was talking to her friend on video this morning, and her friend said Alexa, and then our Alexa in the
Yep.
next room started playing the song that she asked. In a car, you can be like,
Call mom.
yeah.
Right.
I'm sorry. I didn't
Subaru,
understand you.
Call, yeah.
Yep.
Like,
You also
my
only have to
gosh.
connect it one time, and then
Yeah.
every time you get in your car, it just does it automatically.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's definitely a new frontier in getting stuff on your car, but it's never not going to be easier to listen to the radio because the radio is just so simple. And the simpler something is, the easier it is to use. With the radio, you got a button, you got a dial. There you go.
You know what's amazing about this is it's so obvious as you go forward that it's not only greed, because greed is the number one thing involved in all this, but the politics of political, of greed have changed everything. So just between BJ and me, you got rid of two of the most successful morning guys in the country because you didn't agree with their politics. Really? I just don't understand. I had the highest rated show in America because I tried to tell the truth on both sides. But apparently now, unless you're one of my buddies in my special nut job outfit, either far left or far right, then we have to get rid of you because you're a moron. I mean, so BJ has to go because you're an idiot. Really?
Well, it's the whole like, the invaders move in and the first thing they do is smash all the statues and destroy all the relics.
Yep.
That's just what people do when they want to take over a new culture. They destroy the old one so they can put their new one in.
Isn't that amazing? Because that's still going on in America. There are plenty of people busting up statues to this day, throwing paint on pictures they don't agree with, that doesn't agree with their politics. Look, you need to understand if you're too far right or too far left, you're being played for a sucker because they don't give a rat's ass about you. They care about money. That's the only reason they exist. So if you think, oh, well, I'm in the right outfit now. No, you're not. As long as you can make money. And even if you can make money, if you're not in their deal, you got to go as well. These people are crazy. They're literally out of their minds. What caused that?
I don't think evolving from apes, I suppose.
Why do you think to be so extreme politically? Like, I do not understand this whole thing, anti-Jew in America deal. I just don't get that at all. They've been Democrats, almost all of them, not all of them, but most all of them have been ardent Democrats the whole time they've been in the United States. But that very party is the one that turns on them. How does that happen?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It makes no sense. I think the hatred that the media is spewing has got a lot to do with it. But
yeah, no doubt, because Fox and CNN both just spew hatred all day long. They both do that.
Yep.
One's right, one's left. So it's these extreme positions that people get into. I suppose it draws the most attention. Oh my God, what an extreme opinion that is. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But what the hell? It all worked out in the end. Sounds like BJ's got a new job. I got a new job. So who gives a rat's ass? He's working for not Odyssey any longer. He's working for iHeart now. And I'm working for the Hubbards now, or with the Hubbards now. And it's a much better position. So I just don't understand. I could not hate anybody enough to try to destroy their job. Why would I want to do that? Right?
You're not a vindictive person, Tom.
No, I mean, I'm not. I'm also not a raging booze hound, which a lot of them are. Well, they are. I'm sorry. A lot of these people to make these decisions are raging alcoholics, which somebody needs to do something about that.
I think a lot of people are just raging alcoholics right now.
Well, you're right. And you think it's at an all-time high right now, Andy?
It's got to be up there.
Yeah.
Let's see. I wonder if I can
Although
find
isn't
this
drinking
information.
down with like the younger demographic where none
Yeah.
of them drink?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's probably true, but we're talking about the people in that middle zone.
Let's see. Alcohol consumption is, it's gone up from 2 to about 2.4 since 1950. There was a very big hump in the 60s through the 90s, though.
Oh, yeah.
Which corresponds almost exactly to a rise in crime. Must be a coincidence.
Must be a coincidence, all of that going on.
By the way, 2 to 2.4 that I'm talking about is gallons of pure ethanol per year.
2.4 a year?
Sorry,
what? Yeah. That seems like a lot, doesn't it?
How much alcohol is in it? Well, what, beer is about, 5% alcohol?
Well, one drink would be a shot, and a shot is what, 30 milliliters?
Ounce and a half.
Yep.
So 1.5 ounces times 0.4. So that gives you 0.6 ounces per drink. A gallon contains 128. So 128 divided by 0.6. That would be 213 drinks per gallon. Times 2.4. We are at 511 drinks per year. So about a drink and a half per day.
Well, I do that on a good weekend. But
500 drinks in a day isn't that much, is it?
Somebody the other day was talking to me and he was like, yeah, every night I go home and I have a glass or two of whiskey. And I'm like,
glass as in
like
Tom Collins glass? Oh,
no, like
okay.
2-3
I was going to
fingers of
say
whiskey.
a glass
And
is a problem.
I was like, but every night,
Yeah.
1 to 2 glasses of whiskey every single
If we're talking
night.
about like 2 drinks, yeah,
That
I mean,
seems like
like
a lot
I
for
don't-
every night.
I don't think I could do it every night. No.
I have had 1 shot of aquavit in a month. That is the alcohol
Well,
that I have.
I've had 1 shot of aquavit in my life, so there's that.
It's not great, but
Not-
we all
not
do
great
it.
stuff.
We all do it at Dan's
Mhm.
mother's side Christmas celebration. And
Oh yeah, I
it's-
remember it was right after you met Dan and you had just done that and you were like, and Dan was like, oh, hey, want to give this a try?
yeah.
And I had never heard of it. And I was like,
And we all did it at
okay.
our rehearsal dinner
yeah, exactly.
because it's like a celebratory Scandinavian
I mean,
thing.
it's
and
not the worst. God,
no.
the worst thing I've ever tasted. What the hell was that? Melissa's listening. She might remember and she might be able to text in. But there was this liquor that her friend Sam, like Sam's relative gave them. And it was like one of those like traditional, like everyone in my village drinks it kind of thing.
Yeah.
I forget what it was called, but it tasted so bad. It was like it was like a combination of a traffic cone and earwax.
Okay.
I think it was like made out of like
Normal things
I
that
think
you
it was made out of like bark or something like that. Like they soak bark in alcohol and then they
Well, there's in Iceland,
it would probably it sounded like one of those Icelandic kind of things.
there's
that they
this thing
drink.
called it's like Berkir or something, and there's bark in the
There wasn't
alcohol.
bark in it. I think it was made
because I
out
was
of
gonna say
bark,
I've had that
maybe.
before and it's actually quite tasty.
Yeah, no, this wasn't that. This was something that not anyone would
I want
like.
to know what this is.
I think it's one of those
What
things
could
where
this
it's like
be?
none of us actually like it, but we drink
Well,
it
we
because
drink it anyway.
you
Well,
know.
and here's the thing about aquavit. It's like vodka or any other liquor. You can have just like I'm trying to think of the like most run of the mill common aquavit that you know of. And I can't think of what it is. But then there's really good aquavit that you can that it's like this is actually pretty tasty and goes down pretty smooth. And then there's the stuff
Right.
that's
It's
like,
like
drinking
getting like rail vodka versus like
Yes.
a high end or
Mhm.
whatever.
yeah,
rail
there's
whiskey versus
some
high end,
yeah.
Kharkov versus Grey Goose kind
Line.
of situation.
Line is like the most
Line.
common one. And yeah, it tastes like drinking nail polish remover. Like,
Yeah,
it's
some of them are
horrible.
just
It's so
not
bad.
objectively not good.
No.
But there's things that like people like tequila. I don't like tequila at all, but I can see how some people would like it.
I've never had plain, like just straight tequila. I like tequila in drinks.
I don't. If it's got tequila in it, I think it tastes awful.
Yeah, and tequila is like what everybody drinks now.
Yeah.
Like if you go out,
It's
Yep.
the
to a
healthiest
club
liquor.
and, yeah.
It's made out of agave. Tasty.
There you go. It is agave.
But it's like the thing that I drank is one of those things where it's like I can't see anyone actually liking it. Like, you know, I'm able to say this is gross, but I know why you like it. You know,
I
people
wonder,
have different tastes.
Was it Fernet, Andy?
Fernet? That sounds like
because that's one that is in like certain circles is very popular and it tastes terrible. But then when you say it tastes terrible, everybody goes, well, you just don't have like the sophisticated palate.
Yeah, there you go.
Made of a number of herbs that vary according to the brand, but usually include myrrh, rhubarb, chamomile, cardamom, aloe, and saffron.
It's a dark.
What
That
a
sounds
weird
like a real. I was like cardamom, delicious. Rhubarb, that sounds good.
like myrrh. What does myrrh even taste
Yeah,
like?
what is myrrh?
But like
Even
the combination of those
and
things, it's like
saffron.
Yeah, no, myrrh is the sound you make after you take the shot.
and distilled with a base of distilled grape spirits.
Sure.
So it's like just
Wine-ish?
every
Are you
flavor.
talking about glog or something?
Glug? No, we're talking about Fernet. It's
Oh,
basically like if you were to take a box of Birdie Bott's every flavor beans and eat them all at once.
Yeah,
sounds
Mix
like.
them up with some wine.
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. Now I want to try this.
Just see how bad it is.
Look who just got out of bed. Catherine's here.
Hey, welcome.
Good morning.
I did not just get out of bed. I played pickleball. I went to the grocery store. I went to Home Depot, and I just got a little hung up on things.
You got hung up on things. Well, I'm glad you. I wish you'd have been here for BJ Shea. That would have been nice.
Oh,
He called into the show, and he was just such a genuine guy. He got fired too after 17 years.
really?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. They just, they know better. That's exactly right. So it worked for a grand total between he and me for about 54 years, but that wasn't enough. Apparently, they have better ideas. But it was very sweet and very nice. I just don't want to be negative about his appearance at all because he was such a nice man, and all he talked about is the fact that we love our children and he loves his children. It's a great conversation. That's all we're saying.
It's a good attitude.
It's a good attitude. So, Catherine, what's in the news? Anything good?
I have not been watching the news. Sorry,
you.
I was
Good.
out and about.
Too
I
busy?
was out and about, man.
Smart choice.
What was it you said to me again this morning when I said, "Are you hungover?"
I said hardly.
No, you did not. You said hardly, but then you called me a name.
I did.
Yes. Oh,
Well, you called me and you said I was hungover, which I wasn't.
but you were not. That's very, very true.
No.
It was wonderful.
Yes, we had a very nice dinner.
We did indeed. It was very, very pleasant. No question about it. No, I just want to know is there anything new popping up in the news we should know about? Anything
don't
made
think
any
so.
developments on anything? Because basically, when you look at it, everybody hates everyone, and that's just how it is.
This is why you don't look at the news.
That's the news.
That's what you get from watching the news.
Well, I know, but I got to keep my finger on the pulse, don't I?
My finger's never been on the pulse, and I'm just fine. I'm thrilled.
I mean, before the internet, you just made stuff up all the time. People thought it was true, so you could just keep going with that.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Still do that today.
I was gonna say, like you.
I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. We should just make up random facts and see if anybody ever bothers finding out if it's true.
Oh, God. So I just, what? Because there are three younger people, two middling people, and then this older guy. What do you think of this whole situation? Because it's never going to stand up. We talked about it at the opening of the show, so I wouldn't mind talking about the middle of this show. I mean, I'll spend a lot of time on it, but I just don't understand how Colorado took a guy's name off a ballot and therefore they think they're going to affect the national count. So you can't do that.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Colorado took Donald Trump's name off the ballot. He is no longer on the presidential ballot, which once again, I don't think it's ever going to stand up. The Supreme Court's going to wipe it out.
No way.
They can't do that.
Because you can't affect the national election. He has no chance of winning in Colorado anyway, right?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, he won't win in Colorado. No. The thing is they were going by some very old law that said something about if you cause an insurrection, you cannot run for president.
But then I saw a quote this morning. He actually told them not to use violence. Yeah, apparently, there's proof that he told them that.
Yeah, he tweeted out something like that. I don't remember what exactly it was. I've yet to see the tweets. I mean, all the screaming and yelling about these tweets that he was telling everybody to go and riot.
Mm-hmm.
I've yet to see them.
Yeah, where are they?
I always thought it was his actual speech that he gave while they were standing there, not any tweets. Because by the time he started tweeting, everybody was already over there.
I thought he said a peaceful protest. Let them know what you think. I thought that's what he actually said, and I thought he said no violence. But like I said, why aren't they playing that nonstop if they have direct evidence that he said this?
Yeah, it is interesting.
Too much money to be made with the turmoil. Turmoil makes a lot of money. There's no doubt about it.
It's also not good for states to start telling people who they can and cannot have on the ballot.
No, that's really a bad idea.
That seems like a little bit of overreach.
Yep.
Okay, I have to go. Have a good.
Where are you
Christmas,
going?
everyone? To school. I have school.
Forget it. Blow it off.
The teacher would be thrilled if I just didn't show up the day
didn't bother.
before
Later, loser.
like Christmas break party. Today's
Are
going
all-
to be a madhouse.
Are all the kids nuts all week?
Oh, I was grading, so I do most of the grading. Yesterday, it was like the kids had forgotten how to read.
Yeah.
I was like, I've never docked so many points from almost every sheet.
Mhm.
Usually in the class, it's like most kids get everything right, and then a couple kids get like one or two things wrong, and then there's a handful of kids that get a lot wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, it was just like -3, -5, -7, -3, -2, negative. I was just like, I think maybe out of all of the sheets that I graded yesterday, which was, I'd say 50, I think I maybe gave 10 stars.
Wow.
1 out of 5.
Yeah, it was bad.
It's not surprising.
But I mean, this morning, the kids were in fine moods, but it was just like, what do I have to eat? I have to get dressed. I have to pack my snack and put it in my bag. Like
They're
stuff that
all
we
waiting for
every single
Santa.
morning. Yeah, they just
Yep.
can't. They're not computing.
No mindset.
And it's fine. But
Christmas is coming.
it sure is, and they are just. They can only think of that, apparently.
Yeah, I suppose that's true.
So I have to go help this poor woman wrangle these children.
All right, hit the road,
Merry
sister.
Christmas. Yes. Good to see
Merry
you.
Christmas.
Well,
Absolutely.
Happy New Year. Tra la la.
Ooh, she got dumped just as she said tra la la. There you go. Oh God. Okay. So anyway, anything going on in the world we should know about?
Well, apparently there's a hashtag stock market crash. What's that all about?
Oh God, that's all we need to hear.
What it's like watching
It crashed today. Is that what you just said?
It's the top hashtag, but it doesn't look like that actually happened. I don't know why they're
Well, I
doing
can
that.
flip this open and get that for you in a heartbeat because it pops up on the screen and right when you do the deal. And
Well, this is a pretty good tweet though. Saw stock market crash trending. Did Jim Cramer tell everyone to buy? Jim Cramer's the worst. Have you ever watched him?
That's that guy.
Money.
He's had a television show about the stocks forever, and everybody says that anything you buy that he says to buy, it's a complete terrible buy.
Really?
Yeah,
He doesn't know what he's doing?
Everybody thinks he's terrible, but he's had the job forever. I've never followed him or anything. No, I don't know what's going on. I can't tell why this is trending.
Stock
No
market's
clue.
up.
Yeah, it says it's up slightly today.
Yeah, just slightly. You're absolutely right. VIX and gold are down. What's VIX? VIX.
Vicks Vapo Rub.
Yes, VIX Vapo Rub, yeah.
Cold and flu
Vapo
season.
Stock's way down. I still can't believe that Bitcoin is going up.
Ooh,
I
I
don't-
have some of that. I should find that out.
Yeah, it's up 3.5% today. So there you have it.
Not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. The S&P's up. Dow Jones is up. NASDAQ is up. Russell's up. The U.S. 10 years up. I don't know. I don't know where they get the stock market is crashing from. But so what? Did they just put that up there to piss people off?
Yeah, somebody can talk about something and then they do a hashtag. And if I don't know how many people like it
Yeah.
or something, all of a sudden it's a trend.
Or maybe somebody's predicting an upcoming crash, and so that's why it's trending.
Well, there has been a lot of panic about the Fed lowering rates. They don't want to. You ask 15 different stock market people what's going on, you'll get 15 different answers right
That's
now.
very true. Well, let me read this. This is what it says. Powell's pivot sows confusion over when and how fast Fed will cut. Some officials have tried to keep their options open by leaning back against expectations of a March rate cut. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell was asked at a recent gathering what he does for fun. He paused, then grinned. For me, a really big party. This is as fun as it gets, is a really good inflation report, he said to laughter at Spelman College in Atlanta this month. Powell is finally getting what he wanted, a meaningful decline in inflation, but that is creating a familiar headache by making it harder for Fed officials who want to keep their options open to dissuade investors that rate cuts are imminent.
Well, that's good, right, for the economy?
I would think. I don't know enough about this. What, you guys know anything about this stuff?
I know the housing market got a little hotter because rates were dropping into the low 6s for people.
Well, Tevin, you invest, don't you?
Not really. I'll dabble in it every once in a while, but not consistently or anything.
Whatever Josh says.
Yeah, I just listen to Josh and
exactly.
He was right about that. What was it? Providence Oil or
yeah.
Yeah, it went up 4%.
That's what he
Yay,
said.
Josh, he made me $350.
Oh, made me, not us. You know, she said made me, not made us.
This has been my E-Trade
You know what I'm saying?
nightmare. For a
After
long
their
time.
policy meeting last week, Fed officials released projections of at least 3 rate cuts next year. They have since been flummoxed that investors expect even faster and deeper cuts. The result, confusion over when and how quickly the Fed might cut as the central bank tries to bring inflation down without a painful recession. So does this mean anything, or is this all just blah, blah, blah? I don't know enough about the market. I've never paid attention to the market. What do you think?
I can't figure it. I have no desire to even.
So
when Josh comes in, I stare blankly.
Yeah.
And nod nicely.
So what do you think?
I have no idea what that means. I wouldn't even consider myself anybody that's really that knowledgeable in the stuff.
Andy, you got no knowledge of it either?
I got nothing. I haven't owned stock in years.
Catherine?
Well, like I said, I just follow things. And right now, I'm about 50% good, 50% bad.
So that's
this is about the stock
normal
market
deal,
at all
isn't it?
times.
I suppose that's just the way the world goes, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I will say my wife is the one who handles everything that has to do with cash, money, my retirement, the whole shoot match, because I am literally on this planet just to lift the heavy things and reach the high shelves for her. That is all I am here to do.
Well, that's not a bad thing, is it?
Somebody's got to do that too.
Yep.
So do you see signs the economy will get better, get worse? I don't have any idea about this. I have no idea how to read this.
Well,
you guys know?
I mean, I know that when rates go down, it's better for consumers, but worse for the Fed, right? And the Fed is holding all of this debt.
Yes.
So I guess it all depends on what happens with spending. If we never get a president that doesn't stop spending money like, a fool, I don't know what happens.
What did I just see? We're like $4.3 trillion in debt now. Is it more than that? Or is it 34 point? How many trillion is it?
It's more than
It is 33.9 trillion.
33.9 trillion, but there's 4.3 trillion in debt that they're really concerned about. But I don't even remember what the hell it is, because all it does is depress me to look at that. Oh my God. General Mills price hikes backfire as consumers say no more. Did they stop buying Cheerios?
What?
Well, cereal has gotten insane.
That's what they're saying. Yeah, that they jacked up the prices so high they don't want to spend that kind of money on cereal, I guess. General Mills price hikes backfire as consumers say no more. Betty Crocker isn't flying off the shelf like she did during the pandemic, diminishing the company's outlook. Now you're talking about a Minnesota company here. General Mills headquarters in Golden Valley,
They're
of course.
kind of global, aren't they?
Oh, they are, but they're based in Golden Valley, Minnesota. Yeah. So there you have it. Distress signals went up in Golden Valley on Wednesday morning. People are buying fewer General Mills products. People may continue to buy fewer General Mills products. CEO Jeff Harmingen, I don't think I know him. Jeff Harmoning, I guess it is. Steve, I knew really well. He's a good guy. I chalked up the setback to stronger than anticipated value-seeking behaviors and a return toward historical price elasticities. In other words, he's just making it up as he goes along. Both those statements are like, well, here's what it is, but then you didn't say anything. There's likely no more room to push pricing with continued pushback and increasing pressure from retailers. Analyst John O said with the research firm Third Bridge, he wrote that on Wednesday. Investors are now taking their turn punishing General Mills stock price, which was down. Their stock price is down 2.5%. That's a pretty big hit, isn't it?
Yep. Reuters says Cheerios maker General Mills cut sales view as price hikes hammer demand. So
that's kind of sad. I mean, I love General Mills. Like I said, Cheerio.
Well, you're hearing all of these stories about people that, they work full time, they make a good living, and by the time they get done paying for housing and food and healthcare, they've got like $60 in their pocket.
Yeah.
It's really hard to feed a family when you've got $60 at the end of the week.
Yeah, it really is. There's no question about that. I don't know. I just hope something happen. So do you guys think it's going to get better or worse? Do you have any view of, because I have no idea what the hell it is. I have no knowledge of that whole space at all. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, but I feel like most of the news that comes out is that it's going to get worse before it gets any better. I don't hear really anybody championing that, hey, we're on the edge of, financial freedom and greatness.
Right. Here's a headline in the Wall Street Journal. Colorado Trump ban puts Supreme Court in hot seat. Why would it put the Supreme Court in the hot seat? They're going to say, no, you can't do that.
They're absolutely going to. They have to.
They have to. I don't understand. The justices will have to rule on whether an 1868 amendment barring insurrectionists from federal office is relevant to the former president's role in the January 6th Capitol attack.
But he hasn't been convicted of anything, so it's not relevant.
So it's not relevant because it's not even come up yet.
Right, exactly.
I don't understand. That's the problem I have with politics. I like Democrats, I like Republicans, but this far left, far right stuff, these people are insane. And Minnesota's gone way over the top to the left.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Minnesota's always been left, but they're way left now. What happened there? Is it the governor? I mean, who is it?
Personally, I think it is. I mean, he wants to be buddies with Biden. He wants to be buddies with what's his nuts out in California. He wants to be buddies with what's his nuts in New York. We're just going to be cold New York and California.
So he wants to be included in the money raking.
Oh yeah.
That's what
we're saving the world. All the way back to Dayton, where our taxes shot up for everything because I'm going to save one person because I'm going to tax this right off the face of the earth.
Now, here's another Wall Street Journal headline. Home sales tick up after 5 months of declines. So that's a good sign, is it not?
Interest rates went down. Yep.
So they're saying it's bad, it's good, it's bad, it's good. It depends on which story you're looking at in the Wall Street Journal. I'm not an investor. I don't invest in stocks, but that's got to make some people a little uneven or uncomfortable, isn't it?
Well, I would think people who panic when, somebody says fire rather than actually look around and see if there's really a fire, they're going to freak out. Yeah.
Okay, I got to run this by you because hopefully this is true. This is a Wall Street Journal news exclusive. The headline, Hamas starts planning for end of Gaza war. What does that actually mean? Are they going to end it or is it going to be ended? Right?
That could mean either way.
Yeah, because you would think if it was some sort of they're going to negotiate an end, they would include that in the title. So,
Yeah, you would think. Discussions threaten to widen split between the group's political leaders in Doha and its militant wing at war with Israel. So even Hamas can't agree on what Hamas is. That's kind of a problem, isn't it, when your own group can't agree? Well, this is what our group is. No, it's not. Well, is it or not? I don't know. People, what happened to people? Do you think our schools are not is anybody learning anything anymore?
I think what they're having to teach is completely different than what we learned when we were growing up.
Well, yeah.
So you just think they want to teach this violence and hatred? They literally want to teach hatred in our schools?
I think they're having to teach kids. You know, you and I learned, let's balance a checkbook. Let's figure out this. Here's what history was that made us who we are. Nowadays, it's here's how you do this on TikTok. Here's how you do this on whatever. Here's how they're just teaching nothing that has to do with actually how to live in the United States of America.
I still do not understand. Oh, I understand the fact that our college system is completely destroyed and filthy, and it's particularly out in the East Coast. Harvard, a prime example. It's all about money again. I mean, that college is worth, what did they say, $50 billion or something like that? The cash they have in the bank.
Yeah, their endowment fund. Yep.
It's like 50 billion or something like that.
Yeah,
It's
53.
$53 billion. So it's not about going to school anymore. It's not about teaching anybody anything. It's how can we make even more money so we never have to get off our ass and work again, because they don't work now.
Mm-hmm.
They just sit there and go, Andy, you pointed out how many professors are at Harvard? It's like thousands of them.
Let's see.
Good
How many
God.
employees does Harvard have? I wonder.
Well, especially
19,000 employees.
And how many of those are
professors? I don't think it's possible to know how many are actually professors.
Well, let's go half, 3/4, something like that.
Hard to say.
Yeah, it is hard to say.
Okay, why would they need 10,000 professors at one college?
How many students are there at Harvard? I heard their applications dropped by 17%.
Yeah, nobody wants to go
Harvard's
there.
a joke now.
It is a joke.
I have zero respect for Harvard these days. None.
Isn't that sad? Because it was always when you were a kid, oh man, Harvard, that's supposed to be like, that Harvard.
Where all the smart people went. Total enrollment, most recent number I can find, undergraduates and grad students. Wait, their site is, of course, an over-engineered pile of crap.
There's a shock.
Yep, it's completely useless. Well, 2017, there were 23,000 total enrollment.
Okay.
So that's almost one employee per student.
How crazy is that?
There's no way that's necessary.
No, it looks like there's about 2,400 professors.
Yep.
So the rest are probably like janitorial, your
Staff and
cafeteria.
faculty.
Oh, but still, do you need a janitor per student? I hope not. How dirty are these students?
I mean, for a huge campus, I mean, that's not. I don't
Yeah,
think
you got lawn maintenance and everything.
Yeah, which is arguably part of like why it's unnecessary having this,
your admissions office, your people that run your store. Half the students are probably included in the workforce as well if they're working on campus.
But their enrollment is down, what did you say, 17%?
Yeah, applications are down 17%.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Like I said, no one has any. The Ivy League has become a joke.
It has. There's no question about it. And that used to be, I mean, the Ivy League when I was in high school, oh my God, if you could get an Ivy League college, that was a huge deal, boy. That was huge. Now, wouldn't you have to go, why would I want to do that?
Yep.
Well, we've had how many presidents come out of Harvard?
Harvard, Yale, they're all from the Ivy League.
I mean, it was mostly just prestige and getting in with the right people.
And how many were horrible.
Yeah. But the Ivy League is all about connections and who you know. Yeah. It's not actually about education or intelligence at all.
Right.
Not anymore. I think it used to be.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, 50 years ago, I'm sure it was. But these days, no.
And what are you going to do? What is the University of Minnesota still the biggest big time college in Minnesota?
Yeah, by far.
I assume it would
has
be by
how many
far.
campuses?
Yeah, it got a few. I know that.
Yeah, it has at least 4 campuses.
Yeah, I would say probably just by volume, it's for sure. And then, but I think like schools like St. Thomas probably carries a little bit more weight as far as like cachet of or prestige with it. Like I think it'd be more impressive to go to St. Thomas or a school like that than the University of Minnesota.
What, like Andy did, you mean?
Wow. Yeah, I think so. I think there's a
spelled
certain
from St. Thomas.
You got expelled from St. Thomas. That's true.
You weren't expelled.
Yes, I was.
Politely asked to leave.
I thought you just couldn't come back.
Well, I mean, yes, I suppose technically.
It's like when your insurance drops you. There's a way. There's one way where it's like if they drop you, it's still okay, but the other way is not good.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I don't know. So why didn't you like St. Thomas?
I didn't say I didn't like it. I said I got expelled from it.
Well, I know, but that's only because you didn't make an effort.
No, that's not true. I couldn't do the calculus, and I haven't since.
Why don't you learn calculus? It's not that big a deal.
How much calculus do you know?
All of it.
Oh, great.
I know every calculus there is.
Why didn't you help Andy out during calculus?
He didn't ask
then?
me to help. That's all I'm saying. He never came home and said,
I
Dad,
see.
would you pass some of your brilliance on to me?
And for
He
some
never
reason, like
once-
algebra, trigonometry, all that sort of stuff, not a problem at all. But calculus, I just don't. I think it was just explained poorly to me everywhere I went because it never made any sense. People were just like, memorize these symbols and what they do, but they never really explained what the symbols actually did. Like,
yeah,
in a
that'd be a bit
practical
odd.
sense. And I have a really hard time learning when I don't know why I'm learning something. It's like, okay, so yeah, here's this like sigma formula, but why? Why do I need the sigma formula? What does it do? And they just were like,
Shut up and memorize it.
yeah, just memorize it.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know is shut up and memorize it.
Yep, pretty much.
That's kind of sad when you look at it that way, isn't it?
Well, a lot of teachers are really, really bad, unfortunately.
It's true. Our public school system is a complete disaster. What are we going to do about that?
I don't think there's anything you're going to do about
Yeah,
that.
I don't know if you
That's
can do anything about
normal.
it. Well, I think one thing you can do is stop. People see school as like a place you ship a kid off to and then they come back as a genius. But that's not what school is really supposed to be for.
No.
Half of the stuff that you think the school is supposed to do, you're supposed to be doing. Like teaching your kid to read, that's on you.
Mhm.
That's not on the school. Your kid should be able to read by the time they hit grade school, at least a little bit.
Right.
I mean, I don't expect a 6-year-old to be able to read full sentences by themselves, no problem, but they should at least be able to, write their name and read some simple words. But a lot of these kids are completely illiterate at like 8 years old.
No, that's very true.
And they keep lowering and lowering the standards. I don't know what kind of people we're going to be producing out of
That's
the
big when they keep lowering the
educational system.
Yeah, because essentially they're just trying to get there. Well, we graduate all our kids. Well,
Yep.
yeah, when you lower it from we're requiring you to read at a 12th grade level to an 8th grade level, a lot more kids qualify to walk across stage. Yeah.
We're going to take it from a Kevin's level to a Dave's level.
Oh, I was going to go the opposite.
You can go
Well,
the opposite. There you go.
And I know I don't have the same worldview as most people, but how is it good for Black kids to tell them that they can't do math or reading? So we're just not going to expect it from you.
Right.
Yeah, didn't they
How
do
is
that in
that good for
Oregon
them?
recently? They were like, Black kids can't do math, so we're just not even going to ask them.
They literally, that's what the school said.
That's not racist at all.
It's so racist. I don't understand how that is. How does that help Black people at all?
Yeah, Tevin.
Yeah, or just kids in general, because every kid is going to either learn a different way or be good at different things. And I think school they just try to direct everybody down the overall kind of same path where maybe not everybody's supposed to go to college. You can go to trade schools
100%,
and you
yeah.
can do
Yep.
different things, and it's not really tailored to the kids. It's just tailored to the adults that are trying to pass as many kids through this system as possible.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, God, I know so many people. I would say almost everyone with a college degree that I know is not using their college degree. I can think of very, very few examples where it's like, this is what I went to college for, and now this is what I'm doing. It's almost nobody. Whereas if you go to trade school, you're going to be doing that, and you're going to be making a lot of money doing it.
Yep.
You know what's so amazing about that? Looking back 55 years now to the late 60s, I went to St. Joe's I went to Emerson for kindergarten, St. Joe's. I went to Basilica for a couple of months, but then I was St. Joe's through 6th grade. Then I came up to St. Anne's through 7th and 8th grade, which is on 26th and Queen in North Minneapolis. By the time I got to junior high and high school, I had already learned everything they were going to teach me by the time I was in 8th grade. That's how far ahead these schools were, ahead of the public school system. I already knew all this stuff.
Yep.
So they were teaching me nothing for the 4 years I was at Jordan for 9th grade. They've torn that school down now. But I literally by 10th grade said, there's no reason for me to be here.
And
I may as well just leave because I already know all this stuff.
We sent our kids to private school, kindergarten through 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they went to high school, they were miles ahead of the kids that were,
Well, and you look at these homeschooled kids, they're only doing coursework for about 3 to 4 hours a day at the most.
Yeah.
And they're getting it done and
they get it done. And and they usually score really high. And it's a lot of self-learning, really, following the lesson plans. So I don't know. I think that our school system needs a big reboot.
Oh, it definitely does. There's no doubt about it. There's no question.
I wonder if homeschooled kids learn better, because if you're sitting there with, let's say, a parent that has the time to sit there, and they're going to be able to relate it directly to their own child a lot better. Like, hey, you remember this when, we did whatever with your Aunt Margaret? This is how this relates to everyday life. So you're able to kind of comprehend and absorb information better.
I guess the one thing I see about homeschools being a problem is that there isn't any social interaction between kids, which is huge when they're young.
My brother's wife, she homeschooled all of their kids, 4 of their kids, and they were in sports within the school district.
So they did have socialization.
You're allowed to. Yeah, there's a lot of things you can use, and you can get into all the sports programs in your local schools.
Yeah, but again, that's on you. You have to make the effort and do it. You can't expect someone else to socialize your child for you.
Well, and a lot of people form homeschool groups too, so kids can be together and help each other learn. So I think I think that most people, they're making sure that their kids they have friends and are doing stuff. But
I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to do, what was that M. Night Shyamalan movie where they're all living in like the 15th century in like a little enclave? We're going to do that with Ethan.
I don't remember that one.
You're like, 'tis the year 1479,
Ethan.
And he'll never know any better as he's watching us turn on Netflix. Yes, this always existed. Nothing else, though.
All right. We've only got a couple minutes left. Any big subjects you want to bring up in the last 2?
The Village. Thank you, the other Andy.
The Village. Yeah, okay.
Village,
The Village. Right. I remember that.
Yeah, wasn't it like they were living as if it was the past, but then it turns out they were like in the middle of Times Square or something like that?
Yeah, I think so.
God, I don't even remember. How old is that movie?
It was pretty. It was one of the first movies where people were like, M. Night Shyamalan may actually not be that good of a director.
Yeah, he had a couple of stinkers in there.
Yeah, he had like hit after hit back then, but then
and then bomb after bomb for a while.
Let's see here. When was The Village compared to all of his other movies? Filmography. Yeah, he did The Sixth Sense, which everyone liked. Unbreakable was I hated, but everyone liked it. There was Signs, which everyone liked, and then The Village in 2004. And then after that, things didn't go so well for him.
No, his movies are terrible now.
Most of them, like Lady in the Water, I don't even remember.
Oh, that's what's her name? That young girl.
I think we watched that.
We did. What the hell was her name? They
I don't think that was so bad.
They thought she was going to be a big star, but it never happened.
Oh, he made The Last Airbender.
The what?
Last Airbender.
The cartoon?
Yeah, well, no, he made the movie, the live action version of the cartoon.
Oh, I didn't know about that one either.
And my kids would know that. I have no.
It was not received well.
Oh.
All right, that is going to do it for another show. We'll talk to everybody tomorrow.
Merry Christmas, you guys. Enjoy.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
We'll see you
Happy New Year.
2 weeks. Are you going to be on 2 weeks?
I have to work Friday. That's why I'm here today.
Okay, well, we'll figure it out.
And then after that, it's pretty much back to the old schedule if you want.
All right, then.
This day actually worked out really well for me. So.
Well, it worked out for all of us just having you here.
Aww.
You know what I'm saying. All right, we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.
Picture in my noggin reminds me of the